Alrighty, thanks for listening to or watching the Upland Down On podcast. Tonight's October show is streaming live on Thursday, the 3rd of October at 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. If it sounds like I'm in the toilet, well, guess what? I pretty much will am. It's just over there. Having all sorts of audio issues. So we're just going to bumble our way through this one. Also having lots of tab issues on the browser. So should be a bit of a slow, clunky, weird sound on this one, but stick with us. There's a lot to get through. On tonight's show, we catch up on the Upland market and Sparklet floors. We've got another Sparklet segment from Swarley Man. We've got a bunch of stuff to review and reflect on from September and the latter part of Sizzle season. A lot to discuss about what's kicked off and kicking off in harvest season. And we've got a couple of mini-Upland community spotlights for the Evergreen Lahser and Creedmoor nodes. The main topic for tonight's show is the inescapable, bone-chilling horrors of Upland, discussing some of the many ways in which Upland can and must improve to support their vision of being a Web3 ecosystem for digital entrepreneurs to stake their claim in the metaverse, create value, and engage with a global community of players. This includes the first episode of Story Time with BEN68 and an 8-chapter rant that was produced from the recent community sentiment survey that I put out there on the Horrors of Upland. We've also got QIPS on a whole bunch of stuff. Actually had to turn the QIPS off because it was going to cost me too much UPX and I was running out of it. And we'll take a look at another Upland community member spotlight, of course, courtesy of the Dynamic Node Builders team. Tonight, we will be giving away at least an absolutely whopping 770,000 UPX, 2 structure ornaments, and 47 map assets, which will take the 2024 giveaway tally to at least 2.98 million UPX, 154 map assets, 2 structure ornaments, 3 vehicles, and 5 properties. All that more on this, the Upland Down Under podcast. How are you doing this evening, Swarley Man? Welcome back.
Good evening, Ben, and everybody else. Yeah, I'm not doing too bad. Day slogging away doing resubmits for UGC, but outside of that, yeah, not too bad.
Fun times. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. All right. Well, I put the call out because we were only doing one show a month, so I put the call out for a new sponsor, and I hit up Mr. LeBand because, it makes sense. Halloween, what he's got going on. So beware, brave souls. As Halloween approaches, tonight's show is frightfully brought to you by the master of the macabre himself, Mr. LeBand, presenting his bone-chilling UGC map assets metaventure Graveyard Goods. Visit his haunted showrooms, now eerily located in Oakland, Los Angeles, Queens, Detroit, and Kansas. Drag your weary bones to one of his showrooms to resurrect your property with terrifying gravestone map assets, guaranteed to bring your land to life, or send it straight to the afterlife. With 3 unique gravestone models to suit your haunting needs, these chilling assets are devilishly affordable, ensuring you won't be buried in debt. As Halloween draws near, there's no better time to transform your property into a true fright. DM LeBand for more devilish details, either in-game or on Discord. Don't forget to follow him on X or risk being left out of the loop like a lost soul. Links to his showrooms and his X account are lurking in the description if you dare. And he was very generous this evening. He's given me 18 killer examples of his graveyard goods tonight to give away. That will be, what did we decide? 12 will go to the monthly challenge people that put that through, but we'll also give a massive 6-pack for one of our lucky live participants. So best of luck with that. And with that all being said, it's time for the disclaimer.
Warning, the information and opinions within are solely for views of the individuals involved, contains content not suitable for anyone.
Yes. Not suitable for anyone. All right, with all that being said, let's get stuck into the Breaking Badly news and take a look at what's currently happening in the Upland markets. I almost forgot to do this, so I was scrambling to get it done, and it's only been a month, and I almost forgot how to do it. So that was quite interesting. I was scrambling. Right, let's make sure I remember to do that. Not the one, this one. So what is actually happening? Like I said, it's been a while. It's been a month, so I've changed it all. It used to be this week, last week, and I've changed it all to last month, this month. So what's got going on? Sparklet trading price. It has been way higher than that, but we're up almost 20% from last month when we looked at it. It was 0.046. Now we're at 0.058. I'm sure Swarley will probably dive into that a bit more a bit later on. Market cap, of course, follows suit. Was 6.5 million, now 8.10. 8.1, sorry, unique active wallets. I've switched that around too. We used to do every week. I've switched that to monthly as well. So this month, or the previous month up to this date, we've had 118,340 unique active wallets. Total unminted properties with all of the expansions and city release and whatnot, that's gone up 5,342. And total properties for sale has jumped 338 properties in the last month. Plenty of red on the USD floor markups. What's our lowest at present? I didn't even look at that. 24, 23. Not too bad. I don't know. Just by looking at that as a general overview, it seems there's a few more there in the light red than the dark red or the bright red. Maybe I'm just seeing things there. Still no red in the UPX. What do we got? 85%, 82% for Queens. That's interesting. Swarley, got any comments there about Queens being one of the major treasure hunting areas? I'm surprised that hasn't taken more of a boost back. It seems people are still selling out there.
Well, treasure hunting's not back yet. Like the web-based treasure hunting won't be back till they said sometime before the end of harvest season, which we're 2 days into 42 days. So don't hold your breath. But I don't expect that to fly off the shelf or anything, because any of the established players, most of the established players won't the full-time hunters won't be doing it anymore anyway, because there's no value there. And for new players, it's just so bloody hard. And a city like Queens is too big. So I just don't see it with the way they've set it up at the moment. In my personal opinion, I just think treasure hunting's dead. It doesn't mean there won't be a few players that dabble here and there. Competitive will always be competitive. But, I mean, there used to be 40, 50 people going for a competitive chest. Now there's like 5, 10. I mean, they're still the best, the top 5, 10, the ones that we're getting it all the time anyway. But so it's not like it's slower to get them. But, yeah, treasure hunting is all but dead, unless there's some massive overhaul of it, which I don't see coming.
No, and that sentiment was shared by a lot of people that put through survey responses as well, which we'll get to a bit later on for sure.
The biggest problem, which I've griped about it plenty of times, I don't want to go on it too much, but the biggest issue I think treasure hunters have got is the kick in the guts that we got with this earn spark first purchase spark crap. Yeah. So an absolute massive kick in the guts for us in relation to that. And if anything else, it's just made us sorry, had enough been there, done that, I'm not going to do it again.
Fair enough. Can't argue with that one, mate. All right. Interesting to note. I was expecting that we might have seen a few more cities pop up on the $3 floor, but it's actually gone the opposite way. We've had some pull off. So we've got Buenos Aires off the $3 floor, now just under $4. There's a couple more here. Where did I see that? Somewhere else.
I agree with you. Sorry, I was just answering angry. I agree. They'll get there one day eventually, maybe someday soon. Where's Biellerman when we need him?
Biellerman? I just saw a different one. 333. Buenos Aires. Oh, yeah, there it is. Las Vegas was $3 now, $4. So there's a few there. What have we got as far as changes go? Berlin down 15.4% on the USD, was 650, now 550. Brooklyn up nearly 10% on the UPX. Chicago down 10% on the UPX. Oh, that's probably a locked one anyway, but whatever. What have we got? Kansas up 30%. Massive jump there. 6,500 almost last month, 8,500 this month, but still locked on the $3 floor. LA also up 15.4% on the UPX. Miami's had a bit of a boost as well. New Orleans, no surprise there with what's going on. Massive, well, I say massive, it's 32%, but we've only gone from 7,000 and change to 9,500, so it's not exactly breaking the bank there.
Bit over FOMO. There is one property at 30% markup at the moment in New Orleans, so that's obviously not updated properly.
Yes, 10% up on Paris, was 18,000 UPX last month, sorry, now a bit under 20,000. Rutherford still holding strong, although the USD's getting smashed. Look at that, up 10% on the UPX, down 30% on the USD. So somebody's cashing out there. Was just under $18, now $12.50. Santa Clara, on the other hand, going the opposite direction. Was $9 on the USD, up 33.3% to $12. Big jump. And South Lake Tahoe, also a big jump, up 44%. Was just under $4.50, now $6.50. And what's happening in Tokyo? Oh, that's interesting. Up on the UPX and the USD. Just about 9% on the UPX and 18.7 on the USD. And where did Frederick come out at? 6,000 UPX. I think I bought one off the secondary a few hours when I got up after the release, and I paid 5,800 or something. So that has jumped up a bit, which I'm sure we'll get to all of that a bit later on.
I had an hour to kill.
If you are, oh, sorry.
Sorry. So I had an hour to kill, an hour or so to kill before the Frederick release. I stayed up for it.
Yep.
So I researched the biggest properties. I knew it was a long shot, but I thought, just in case I have the badges, I don't really care. But just in case I have the badges, maybe I can actually get the biggest big fish badge or whatever it is. So I researched the properties.
Yes.
I missed the biggest one, but I found the second and third biggest one and actually purchased them. But only to find out that no, because it's a starter city, they don't do it. Which it doesn't say that in the release or in information. That doesn't say they don't do that sort of stuff for starter cities. They just say for every city release from now on. Now they haven't done it for the other starter cities, but they've been all secret or silent releases or whatever. This is the first one they've done that hasn't been a silent release since. So that's why I gave it a thought. But of course, Swarley misses out yet again. Such is life.
Yes, you weren't the only one there. I believe it was LeBan was having a conversation with somebody about that too.
That was on the back of me because I was trying to get them. I was trying to enlist them to help me find because they've blocked all like when you're drifting around now, you can't see the property prices and all that sort of stuff anymore.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, they blocked that. So the only way you can really, and because there's no information out there, the only way you can really, you have to visually find the biggest property. And I was there with a notepad and pen, and like I said, I had an hour to kill, so it wasn't like I was doing anything else. And I ended up finding the second and third biggest property, but of course, no badges. So they only cost $50,000 each. So
yes. All right. Well, before we head on over to Swarley's Sparklet segment, I'll just give our live participants the heads up that we have the hashtag for this week is horror. Hashtag horror. Get that in whenever you get the chance and go in the draw for some chunked out UPX and of course the 6-pack of Graveyard Goods map assets care of Mr. LeBan himself. All right, well, I'm going to shut up for a while and hand it over to you, Swarley Man. What you got going on?
All right. Okay, there's a half-assed effort of trying to talk about Sparklet, and just my whole idea of this is, and I introduced this a couple of months back, and then of course the show's different changes have happened and whatnot, so I haven't really looked into it since that, but looked at doing a report, sort of just watching Sparklet, seeing who's holding Sparklet, what movements there are in the market, what the tokens are, what we can possibly suspect the price might do in the short term, although it's all the guessing game, obviously. I don't know. I don't have any crystal balls. So it's a bit of my thoughts. And, I do encourage anyone who've got any questions, queries, suggestions, you think I'm wrong about something, please ask a question now or send me a DM or whatever, because I need to learn myself. So if you've got any ideas, whatever, happy days. So we'll start with, I started doing a spreadsheet just to try and track some of the prices and the tokens of Sparklet. So it's a bit rough and ready at the moment. I haven't really figured out how to do this properly yet. But I sort of took a snapshot of it for the first time about a week or so ago, on the 25th, so was that a bit over a week. So just to try and track whether the wallets are going up and all that sort of stuff, and the tokens, the holders, and everything like that. So there's not much movement in relation to that. So the current circulating supply, according to CoinMarketCap, is 140 million tokens. Okay, that's not actually too far. It's fairly accurate from what I can tell. The market cap's pretty much what you just said it was before, Ben. Market cap, you said in your report, it went up from 6 point something million to 8 point something million. That's not because people were spending more and buying more tokens, because Upland released more tokens. So even though we didn't pay for them, because there's more tokens on the market, but the price hasn't changed, it effectively increases the market cap. That's a diluted market cap supply, which is a bad, when you got a high diluted market cap, that's a bad thing really for any coin, because the rest of that supply could just hit the market any time and dilute everything we have, which is kind of what we're seeing with all these Sparklet giveaways anyway. Just not the whole amount of it. So what I've proposed to do is to sort of track the top 50 wallets outside of Upland, which is what these are down here. So most of these you can see are just exchange wallets. So that's where the vast majority of the coins are, as well as I suspect these have got something to do with Upland, which is where the vast majority of the coins are. So these top 50 wallets account for, as of today, 99.91% of all Sparklet in circulation. So the other 0.09% could be like if you've bridged any Sparklet into your account, you might have had like 5 or 6 left behind that you couldn't bring because you have to do it in multiples of 10. So that's probably where the vast majority of the 200 and wallet, where it's up to 2,000 wallets. So that's probably the vast majority of those, why those wallets are there, which is why there's such a 2,000 wallets, but only 50 count for such a large percentage of the supply. And then I've also looked at what the players in Upland hold. So the top 100 players hold 48 million tokens, which is obviously a lion's share of the tokens. But what's interesting is, and you can get all this information from Grom Brimble's optimizer. I know some people have troubles using it, but I've never had a trouble, so sucked in the band. There's currently 150,000 players who hold at least one. Actually, I think the lowest Sparklet is 6.7 Sparklet, which I assume is someone that cashed out and couldn't take out the last 6.7, which is why you get a weird number like that. But there's 150,000 players that hold at least one Sparklet, and the total amount of Sparklet held by players is 142 million Sparklet, which is equivalent, obviously, to 14.2. Makes sense. % of the supply. So what we do want to see is this number here continually growing each week, because that means Sparklet that is getting released from Upland is being used in Upland, and that's obviously a good thing for the game. So hopefully over the time, we'll keep seeing this 14.2 grow and grow and grow. And we don't see, sudden drops in that, because if players take their Sparklet out of the game, well, chances are it means they're going to sell it, which is what we'll look at now. So I sort of threw some of the details into ChatGPT and said, can you spit out some details for me? So it doesn't capture a lot because it was only a week ago, but that's in the last week or so. That's the players who, and yes, I'm in there, who've bridged in the most Sparklet. So that's obviously pretty positive to see that many players. So some of that would have captured the end of that competition for the plane. I didn't get involved in that. I was too late, and I wouldn't have had enough to feature anyway, so I wasn't stressing. I was waiting for the price to come to where I wanted it at, and that's what happened recently. So so lots of Sparklet coming in, and whoops, I went the wrong way. No, having all right, and then the Sparklet going out was only out of the top 100 players. Only one player took out any amount of Sparklet. This player has a lot more than that, but just took out 10,000. So whether they're selling it or moving it somewhere else, who knows? But so we'll keep watching that to see if there are any major drops out of Sparklet. So there were some players that weren't in the top 100 a week or so ago that are suddenly in there. So obviously a gold member who I think did feature in that competition to win a plane. I could be wrong there, but I think a couple of these players did. So obviously, if you're going to buy a Sparklet anyway, why not try and get a plane at the same time? It kind of makes a bit of sense. And there's a few players that dropped out. So the main reason I want to watch that is because if there's especially a top 50 or even a top 20 player that drops out of the top 100, it means that they're selling a lot of Sparklet. So we'll try and keep an eye on that over time. I won't go too much into that. I was trying to work out some positives and negatives. Actually, I won't even do that because we'll say that for another time. What I did do, and go away a little tab, is I got ChatGPT to sort of crunch some of the numbers in relation to, and I've done this before with Sparklet, but just to try and show you where Sparklet is in the world of crypto and other gaming tokens. So I asked ChatGPT to give me a list of other tokens with a similar sort of supply, which is these 150 million types ones, and then obviously some of the notable gaming tokens like Decentraland and stuff like that, ApeCoin and whatnot got in there. So I mean, we all know what Sparklet is and what Upland is, and we have our own opinions on whether it's better or worse than Sandbox or Decentraland. But this number here just represents the multiplications that Sparklet would have to do to get to the same level as these coins up here. So I'm not going to go over it. It is what it is. Are we going to do that? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? And that's just on today's value. So like an 86x or a 64x, 70x. So it just shows you how much room there is for Sparklet to grow, especially if we do ever get mentioned in the same page as some of these other projects, which hopefully we will in the next bull run. That's why I'm really bullish. I'm a lot more bullish on Sparklet than I am Upland. Although I love Upland, I love playing Upland, but I'm way more bullish on Sparklet. I actually sold some Bitcoin to buy the Sparklet that you saw earlier, which is where my opinion is. I think Bitcoin has the potential to do maybe a 3x at best over the next 18 months. Where I think Sparklet, the sky's the limit. 3, 5, 10, 20, who knows where it's going to go. The big negative is obviously Bitcoin's probably not going to go to zero over the next 12 months. Will Sparklet? Well, hopefully not. I don't think so, but it's definitely a higher risk than what Bitcoin is. So that's my thought, is just to try and track those sort of wallets, those accounts, those players. So if anyone that doesn't know about Grom Brimbles, give him a bit of a plug. So the optimizer, one way you can sort of look at Sparklet players, the top 100s here. You can bring up every single player in the game. It's accurate. As soon as I bridged in Sparklet, my balance updated exactly what it is, so it's pretty good. So the big dog used to be number 2, Abdullah, but Dizzy absolutely trounces him now. With Big Nick not too far behind. So we'll try and watch them over the next few months. So I think that's about all I got for now.
Very good. Thank you very much for that, mate. So yeah, good to hear. Good to hear that you're still very much bullish on the whole thing.
Hopefully, I'm hoping to be. I'm trying to stay positive. Yes, I mean there are obviously some issues and problems that pretty much every player in the game will have experienced and has. But Sparklet itself, that if Upland can do it right, and that's the biggest issue here, is Upland needs to do it right. We're so reliant on Upland, where Bitcoin is absolutely decentralized, so that's on everybody. We're kind of reliant 100% on Upland to make sure that they do it right for Sparklet, which I think they can. So we'll have to wait and see.
Wait and see. Yes. All right, we'll move on. We've got a bunch of stuff to kind of review and reflect on. I'm not going to stick on any of these for any great length of time. If you're in chat and you want to have your 2 cents, drop a comment in there as well. Otherwise, we'll just blitz through it. So we of course had the new gamified earnings missions for Sizzle Season and Sizzle Season Sparklet airdrops. I think I ended up on 11 of the missions out of 12, so I was just under. I kind of half had to go racing, but I didn't look into doing any more. What did you end up with, Swarley? You're pretty happy with how that all played out?
I got the maximum, only because I obviously, being a large owned Spark owner, I was obviously incentive to do so. I will say I did know, and maybe they'll change it with one of these secret missions later on, but buying and burning a pass for this season was not one of the challenges, which I did straight off the bat, assuming it would be. So I'm a little bit paid off at the moment about that one, but anyway, it is what it is. So maybe I wasted $7.
Yeah, I delisted a couple of legits that I had, NFLPA legits, getting ready to burn those as well.
Burn, yeah.
I was just doing a few different things. So yeah, I was surprised that there was no burn mechanic in there as well.
There's a good chance that'll be one of the mystery so-called mystery challenges over the next 6 weeks.
Yep. Right. So other big news we had, of course, we kind of talked about that with the markets, the Road to the Big Game, New Orleans Seasonal Long Challenge. This is just part of a massive, at least from an outsider perspective, I don't know anything about the NFLPA, but there seems like there's been a massive revival of that whole system. I guess that's good if you're all about the NFLPA. I got I don't know what happened with my phone. I got 2 pop-ups came up today. The bundles now are available in UPX or something as well. So they're really trying to push them.
The Road to the Big Game and the NFLPA, from what I understand, very different. There's a very flimsy link between the two, where there's a bonus Sparklet to be given out at the end of the season if you are aligned to a certain team. That team gets in the top 3. But the vast majority of this road to the big game is just staking Sparklet in New Orleans, which in itself is a great idea, and it's really brought life back into Upland, into New Orleans. Got some building going on there, a lot of Spark obviously going in there, and for a city that was, from what all reports, all but dead only a month or so ago, is now absolutely booming. So it's a good incentive. Like this is sort of stuff that Upland should be doing with their Sparklet and giving out, instead of just the dumps that they've done on us, like the purchase and owned ones. This is exactly what they should have been doing from the get-go. Fantastic idea, and I hope they do this again in the future, like for other cities, if not the Super Bowl city, because I think that's what it's related to, is that New Orleans must be hosting the Super Bowl.
Well, that's what I thought when I read that. New Orleans for the big game. Normally when they refer to the big game, that's what they meant. Yeah.
So the link to the NFLPA, which is too late now if you haven't already gotten involved, is that you had to be, by the 1st of October, you had to own legits to be, and whichever team you own the most for was the team that you got a snapshot and then aligned to. And then if that team ended up in the top 3, then you end up with that bonus Sparklet, or a share of that bonus Sparklet. I looked into it. I sort of got excited for half a second, because you don't need to own. You can only own one legit and then get involved. And if that legit was, say, for the Dallas Cowboys, then you're aligned with them. And if they got in the top 3, you get a little bit of a bonus. But you still have to stake in New Orleans in the first place to even register and all that sort of stuff. So, good idea. NFL, but so I hope they improve on it. But I think it's one of the better things that I think they've done recently.
Maybe one of our American watchers can let us know if is that indeed the case. Is there something going down with the Super Bowl in New Orleans this year? Yes, Lily says So it makes sense then that, well, hopefully it's a sign of what's to come. Maybe they're going to do some kind of bigger promotion as part of it. You wouldn't want to promote something out there and say, hey, look what we're doing in this Upland thing, and everybody come and check it out, and you go over there and it's just freaking ghost town. Of course they'd want to have that developed, so might be a sign of things to come.
Like I said, I think it's a good thing, and I hope they keep doing that in the future for different cities, and to help boost them and improve them. I mean, yourself, when you zoom into an area, it's all built up. How good does it look? So, so hopefully we get that.
Well, not on an iPhone. It looks like absolute snowfest.
Okay, well, let's look at rose glasses, and let's assume that we're not crashing and seeing white screens. Like, it does look good when it's all built up and whatnot. So, fingers crossed. So,
all right. Other major event, of course, was finally, after a very long time, we had more news on what was happening with the Neighbourhood Collection Challenges Part 2. There was a whole kerfuffle where they said it wasn't going to affect the current September leaderboards, but it did. All of those charts went parabolic and threw everyone into a tiz. They went back and corrected it. That has all been updated now, of course. But lots to digest into here. It's there's a lot of positives and negatives from my perspective. The kind of thing that stuck out to me with all of this sort of stuff, this node versus node battle, is it just absolutely cripples fully developed neighborhood nodes, or whatever you want to call them. Places like Midtown Terrace, never going to have a hope in hell of competing with this in any sort of fair way, because we're already maxed out in what we can do. And it appears that this is all about, momentum moving from season to season. There's other places too, Century City, I know, Monero, all fully built out as well. Places like that going to be hamstrung on what they can do, and not really going to have a fair chance at this. It's going to be battling to try and stay off the bottom of the floor, which, as far as I'm concerned, is just plain stupid. I don't know why they're punishing people that have, invested time, efforts, money, and whatnot to coordinate and put it all together and build as much as we could, as fast as we could. And now that turns out that was the absolute worst thing you could have done.
Yeah, there needs to be some sort of multiplier there. For if the structure's completed, the longer it's been there, it earns more points. So, a structure fully completed that's been there for a week, might get 0.01 or something, and the one that's been there for a year gets 1. I don't know, or something along that. So a reward those structures that have been built for a long time, and so and more established. But again, I'm not really into all the nodes so much, so this is more your domain. I've sort of stuck my toe in a little bit with Cosme Velo and a little bit, but I know QIPS was saying the same sort of thing with his node, because they're not really building much there at the moment. There's not much spark hours. They dropped from what looked like they were going to be in 4th place to 14th, I think, so with this new rating. So he was a little bit disappointed with that.
A bit peeved, yeah. But then it's revived other areas like Portage Park as well, which, they got shafted from the original iteration. So, pros and cons, as I said. Fair play for all neighbourhood sizes perhaps, but definitely not age and, how long they've been established and developed. It's still very much heavily biased towards new places that have heaps of growth potential still in their back pockets. Few extra features here. Boost with seasonal ornaments. That was great. As a seasonal ornament creator yourself, you must have liked that. I believe you were saying that you've had heaps of sales come through, which is good.
Yes, but have you also noticed the lack of announcement for the harvest season ornament challenge?
Well, I've been completely out of the loop, so no, I haven't noticed. No.
Maybe it will come later in the week or something, but there hasn't been a competition announced this season yet. So that'll be terrible if that doesn't happen for creators. That's obviously a good thing, and we need more of it to create a need and a desire and a market for this sort of stuff. But one of the driving factors at the moment was the ornament challenge, and if we're not having one, that's going to really suck.
Yes, interesting. Now, this one seems good on the surface. Paid sends now count, but this is going to be exploited like you would not believe. Pretty much, this is a feature that Midtown Terrace could potentially use. Like I could set up with Levan and say, Levan, I'm going to put 1 million UPX worth of sends through to your accounts, and then he could turn around and give it straight back to me. Well, assuming he was going to play nice. Yeah. It should only count. How do they do that? How do they do that where it's not going to be exploited? Because as it stands now, it will 100% be exploited to high hill with
depends on how much.
splashing.
I think it depends on how much weight it has. It might require unique players or something like that as well. So you might have 100 sends from one player, which is pointless if 100 players sending once is 10 times more points or something like that. So hopefully that's how they've stopped that or something along those lines. That's just me thinking out loud. If anything, though, this should actually be an advantage for you, being that San Francisco is one of the better cities to treasure hunt in. This should be a good thing for Midtown, at least. It sucks for the cities that are terrible for treasure hunting. So if you've got a node in, say, LA, this is not a good thing for you whatsoever. So whether there's a balance in that situation, I have no idea. So the treasure hunting cities, they might advantage them, but the non-treasure hunting cities, LA is obviously, I think, probably the worst city out there to treasure hunt in. I don't see it being very good for them at all.
I have seen a bit of chatter about now, what are you going to do with your send fees? If you want them at the minimum, well, you're going to potentially miss out on some UPX there, but you don't want to push them too high either. It's going to be interesting to see how that dynamic all plays around. I'll get to that in a second, kind of. What do you think with fees?
The send fees. Well, I mean, if you're in a treasure hunting city, I still think you keep them low because you still want. I think a player with the min fees will likely get way more sends than the equivalent for a max send. I don't know. To be honest, I don't even give that much thought. Like with the city properties that I've been buying, I keep forgetting to send them to low anyway these days because I'm not treasure hunting. To be honest, I just haven't given that thought lately. I'm so out of the loop in terms of treasure hunting and all that sort of stuff.
Yes.
Won't get sends, but the sends have all but died anyway, Lily. That's the point. It's minimal. I mean, it's minimal at best, and that's from someone that had nearly 2,000 properties in Queens. My send fees, even when it's the treasure hunting week in Queens, there's barely a notice in the jump at all. When that used to be quite significant for that treasure hunting week.
Yes, it'd be interesting to see. I'll just go back to Kinder's comment because this did come up as well in some chats
Yeah.
I've had with people. Demolish and rebuild. Okay, so Mid-10 Terrace is hamstrung with what we can do with growth. Demolish and rebuild. I'm not going to go down that path. That's
But why?
what are you going to demolish every season? It's that's
Maybe.
crazy. Yeah.
If you want to be ultra rare, I mean, if you had enough people on board with enough spark, maybe you could get yourself all the way up to ultra rare by doing that. But
it's just not something I'm not even going to humor the idea myself personally. So
yeah, I wouldn't either. But
of course, we also had the other feature where now active players, it's all about the active players and the growth as part of all of that. This hurts Midtown Terrace, like from a personal perspective, because a lot of the Midtown Terrace residents, some people that have won the previous prizes that I give out, they still haven't picked those up. So I don't know how active they are. Sometimes that does get them to be engaged again, but overall, I think that's a really good addition for the game. Even though, like I said, personally, that's going to kick me in the pants, but I think that's good. And then there was some yada 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 stuff in the end. So yeah, I mean, interesting. As I said, a bit of good news, bad news in there. I do like that they tied it to seasons now. I think that's a good addition too. It kind of sucks if you're like Creedmoor and some of the other nodes that just missed out on September. Now they're going to go through this whole new process. But I'm glad they at least let September ride out the way it was supposed to before they introduced the changes and not just change the rules as it looked like it was going to happen halfway through.
Look, it makes sense for it to be aligned to seasons, and I fully get it. And in fact, it wasn't that long ago I actually thought it was myself, because that's how little I got involved in all this neighborhood stuff. But it does mean that half as many hoods now are collectionized, or whatever what the word is, each year. So is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Interesting how it all pans out. Now, one of the other things that popped up, of course, was all the controversy around the Hidden Gems bundle sale. People that I didn't see very many people that were impressed with what they got out of that one. Did you?
I don't even. I mean, I see the word bundle now, and I walk the other way. I just turn away. Like, I mean, half the time a bundle is one item anyway, which is not a bundle. We made that point before. But yeah, the bundle, like the word bundle is almost like that's a turn-off word for me now in Upland. I just name me one thing that's been good that's been a bundle in Upland.
Yeah, I don't know. Get a bundle of people
anyone
together
in chat?
and have a chat. I don't know.
Anyone in chat? Name one thing that's been labelled as a bundle in Upland that's been good. Yes, fine. You might have had these bundle sales, and one player got a landmark or something out of one out of 1,000 players or whatever, 500 players, or whatever. Yeah, great for them. What about the other 400 players? And the value is just not there with any of these bundles. Look, they're trying to make money. They're trying to keep lights on. I get it. I'm just not getting my money. That's bottom line.
Get your money there. How about the nowhere passes? Did you get up at stupid AM to have a crack at one of the passes for that?
Personally, I didn't care. Obviously, I'm not a broadcaster. I'm not going to get into all that sort of stuff. I did, though, register for Elslack's behalf in case I was lucky enough. But let's face it, I've never, ever once come close to getting something that's desirable in this game. And I wake up at, I think it was like 10 to 2 or something like that. Saw that I was 60th or something. I think the best one I had was like 60th in line.
You did well.
Yeah. That's not going to, but I may as well have been 600th, like 60th, 600. What's the difference? So I just turned around and went back to bed. So
yeah, I registered. Oh, Lily. See that in chat? What she said?
Where are we at to?
Right down the bottom. I slept and got first in line for the theatre. Ouch.
Ouch. Even if you didn't want it, you could have flipped it for a nice profit. And actually, who was it? I think
secondary process.
I can't remember if it was the Ninjas or someone was saying that they were really disappointed that at least the first batch wasn't offered to UCN broadcasters in the first place. I mean, it would have been a perfect opportunity to try and get them to start using the platform for their content and to just put them out there in the public in this ridiculous sale that we have at 2 a.m. or stupid a.m. It just doesn't suit anybody. Like, it just, I don't know. Is it a good point? Should have been possibly at least the first batch for UCM and non-sellable and non-tradable if they took up the option. I don't know, because it wasn't astronomically priced, was it? Like a couple $100,000 uppies for UCM players. I don't think it's out of the overpriced or anything like that. So I don't know.
Yes, 250,000, 400,000. Yeah, so yeah, you can't put me in that conversation anymore. I'm no longer in the UCN. I did register for it. I didn't set the alarm. I got up. It's at 2 a.m. our time. I got up at my regular 4:30 a.m. and had a look, and I think I was like 400th for one and 900th for the other one. So yeah, I had no chance whatsoever. So just as well, I didn't get up. Kind of. NFLPA bundles, soccer random teams in bundles doesn't help. And yeah, I find that weird too. But then if you go back in the day, if you go and buy, you know, card packs or whatever, it's always random teams and you got to mix and match with your friends. So that part I get. But
yeah,
I thought you could go to the.
You go to certain stadiums and you can buy your team bundles. So, because I did travel all the way to Arlington and I bought a Dallas Cowboys one because Elsac was trying to get me on their bandwagon. So I jumped in my car for the 74th day drive from the East Coast to Arlington, picked up a 5,000 bundle, and then went, "Oh, you may as well have them all else. Like, I don't want them," so I just gave them all to him anyway. So yeah, you can definitely get, if you want a particular team, you can definitely go to the stadium. Even if if your team that you support isn't built, that'll be in another stadium nearby, I think. So just go check the different stadiums to see which ones they are. Or chat to someone that's right into it. I know Elsac gets right behind the NFPL stuff, so hit him up, or one of the other guys, Rikuria, I think it's one of the biggest players in relation to it. So, but yeah, you can definitely get them team aligned one anyway.
Yes. Right, and variants helped yours quite a lot there. Right. Of course, other news we had was treasure hunting. We kind of touched on that a bit loosely. I personally, I didn't think it was ever coming back, so I was a bit surprised with this one. Although SC Kicker did say when I was chatting to him as part of the interview I did last weekend that he spoke to someone at Genesis Week in the team, and they assured him that it was definitely coming back. So, I'll kind of get into this a bit later with the story time rant I'll go on. Is it too little too late? I think it's probably is, and it's kind of probably mismatched now with the opportunities that you can buy Sparklet on exchanges and whatnot. I can't imagine the maths would work out very well with the amount of time you have to put in. But I know there's still plenty of people I see. Might be even Vape Pie guy in chat there. There's people in the Evergreen Lahser chat, they're always putting up the spark chests that they get as a bit of a celebratory thing. So people are still doing it.
I probably more often than not do my free one each day. But I don't care if I don't. Like, I used to get sort of a little bit, I'd plan my trips. Like, I just flew to Paris last night and back again just to apply for a factory, or showroom, sorry. And I used to try and plan that ahead, like obviously with a couple of hour flight there and back again, if that, because it would impact my treasure hunting. Now I just don't care. I just jump in and in fact, if anything, I probably still need to go back to planning it because I get so annoyed with that pop up. You're in transit. Yes, I know. Fuck off.
Oh my god, yes.
That is just doing my head, because now I don't really care anymore. So I'm just flying and driving all different places, and I keep getting. I'm like, oh damn it! I'm trying to move items, and I keep getting that pop up all the time, and I'm like, oh.
Yes, I've been in the middle of, I think I was moving a map asset or I was putting a swap through or something. And you know when you get close and it just you can't X out of it. It's like 10, 9, 8, and it actually glitched out the thing that I was trying to move, and then I had to contact support and get it fixed. It wasn't fun.
Actually, that's a good point. And I actually was meant to finish on this and I didn't. I was going to show the chart and the Sparklet price. I did hear a rumor, I don't know where from, that Sparklet was going to be for sale within Upland again soon. Be very interesting to see what the price is in relation to outside of Upland.
Yes.
Definitely worth watching that one. The price from what I can see, because it's such a small market cap, there's a really big sell and a really big buy just above and below where we're currently sitting in price. It's not going to change unless one of those or both of those change their buy orders or sell orders. The current price isn't going to change anytime soon. It's been like it for the last couple of weeks, and it's probably going to be like it for the next couple of weeks. Because there's just not the volume to push it one way or the other at the moment.
Very good. What have we got here? Too late for most experienced hunters, but opens it up for new hunters. Yes, absolutely. What did Millen say? I feel more comfortable in game as brand new to wallets. Yep. Buying in game. Yep, that makes sense if you want to buy a Sparklet.
I disagree with Angry's comment there. I don't think it does open it up to new players because it's just too damn hard now. Or with the removal of the arrows and stuff like that, they've just made it so hard to treasure hunt. You need a decent web. I mean, to treasure hunt and make it even remotely. I mean, if you end up using like 5 cents per treasure or something, it ends up being non-profitable for each and every hunt you do. I just don't see it taking off. It's not that it's impossible, but it takes time to get good at understanding and interpreting the arrows and stuff like that. And with the removal of that red arrow, it's just too hard, I think, for new players.
Random thought, the old Bing light bulb thought, wouldn't it be good if you're a new Uplander account and you've got all of the red arrows back and even more? If you've got extra arrows and then, as you progressed in your status, you lose some of those. So once you got to chief executive status, there would be all those, what do they call them, where they're hidden? What's that type of treasure hunting called? I'm blanking on the word.
The stealth one.
Stealth, yeah. Yeah, so if you're chief executive, you get no hints until you're really close as a step.
Where were you in the Upland chat with ideas? Where were you when they were asking for ideas? Elslak got 10 grand or whatever it was. I've always said I would like some sort of instead of them increasing the prices and making it total. I haven't treasure hunts since they've done the most recent changes, but I've seen people post ridiculous prices to spawn a chest these days. I would have liked to have just seen it get not randomly harder, but progressively harder as you did hunt. So like the first 10 are just normal, and then it just as you got through it, then certain things would happen to make each hunt get harder and harder and harder. Of course, if you're good at it, you can still probably get 50, 60, 70 hunts in a day, but you'd have to be good at it. And it wouldn't punish the new players, but it would also give some sort of reward for the dedicated players. But instead we'll just tax the crap out of it, nerf the prizes, make it harder to play, and just kill it. And ultimately, I think, just cause harm to the game in general.
Yeah, Angry's got a point there too. Even a half decent web on mobile is awful. At least on PC, you can judge distance a bit easier. Yeah, well, I used to be a hardcore treasure hunter, believe it or not. Way back in the day, I used to be way up there on the leaderboard of most treasures gotten of all time. From the moment, pretty much the day that treasure hunting first came available, I was like, for the love of the gods, please remove this auto zoom feature. It's a bloody pain in the ass. I don't know how many times that's been requested through the years. Several dozens times over, I would imagine. The mobile treasure hunting experience was always frustrating, even when everything was working fantastically.
On the PC, there is a setting you can change on your PC that will stop that. But it kind of affects other programs too. It's a PC setting, not a Upland setting, so you can affect how other applications and whatnot you're using. So I did it for my laptop when I was using it for treasure hunting on the PC, but I didn't do it for anything else. But yeah, it is annoying that zoom in, zoom out.
Who knows? They're pretty sparse on the details there, so they might come back with treasure hunting, and it might be with a whole host of different upgrades and different features and whatnot. They may surprise us. Well, look at the glass is 3/4 full,
and Santa might deliver it all.
You never know. All right. What have we got? What else have we got here that's going on? We'll try and get through these a bit quicker. There's Harvest. I had a laugh at this. I didn't really read it, but they can't even get this right. Upland's Harvest Racing Season 2024 Race for Glory and Championship Point. Get yourself some point.
I didn't even see that when I did my comment for your Twitter thing.
I mean, that's just embarrassing. Get some
'Cause
coin.
The one I was referring to was the gamified tasks for this season.
Yep.
They've got in there, and there's 3 more season drops for the earn Sparklet. I'm like, hang on, we've already had one. Does that mean we get an extra one? I know full well
Yes.
we're not, but so I just had to play around with that in general.
Does that mean that all the issues that we had with racing, that's all been fixed up, or people still dealing with glitches trying to play with that?
I don't know. Mass Chef was on one of the broadcasts the other day saying he was going to test it thoroughly. I haven't seen the update of that because that only dropped about the same time that he was on that broadcast. I don't get into it myself, so I'll have to see. I have noticed that there's been a couple of races on my track in Washington, so maybe players are starting to come back to it.
Yep. There's usually some pretty decent prizes, so it'd be pretty sucky if there's still glitches involved and the prizes are up there. Anyhow, we'll move on. Now they said you didn't get your money for some other stuff harvest season. They got your money for that though, right? So how have you gone so far? I haven't even looked at this myself. I completely avoided.
Forgot to look at it, and then I just got on a chat the other day, just doing some stuff and talking about it. I went, oh crap, I haven't looked at what the passes are. And he goes, don't. And I was like, why? He goes, don't. He goes, I'm like, why? He goes, it's the worst one yet. I'm like, wow, that's a low bar to hit, and they hit it. Don't worry about that. They knocked it out of the park with that low bar.
All right, well, we'll move on from that. Yeah, I didn't.
Horrible.
I didn't touch that one, as I said. But what I did have a bit more of a closer look at, because it affects, my earnings a bit more deeply, is looking at what have we got going on for gamified earnings for harvest season. I was very surprised that they've dropped that down to now. You only have to do 5.
Yeah, I think Ace is saying racing is a lot better now. A little bit.
Oh,
iffy,
that's good.
Yeah.
Good to hear. So yeah, what do you think about this? You only need to do 5 tasks to get the 14.7%.
And it's never been that high to get the 14.7. I reckon it was always been 5 or very close to it. I don't think you've ever needed to get that many. It was the big gap between that and getting to the 15.1 or 15.2, whatever it is. There was always that big gap. Maybe it wasn't as low as 5. Maybe it was 10 or something like that. And then, but we know it's not about, at the moment at least, it's not about the earnings. It's about the Sparklet.
That's why, yeah. When you were saying that, I'm thinking, well, why the hell did I try and get 11? And then, yeah, of course, now it's tied to your Sparklet airdrops, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm tantalising close to having 100,000, so it'd be nice to get that this season with the airdrops. So what have we got? It's 10 core tasks. So this is started now. Harvest regular, everyone's going to get that. Log in for 25 days. That's easy. 7 days, easy. Mint 3 properties. Well, I should have went over and minted some, but I didn't. I bought them on the secondaries, but that's easy enough to do, I suppose.
We need to do that as well anyway, so.
Yeah. Ornamental touch, I've already got that set up and good to go. Collection Conqueror, I won't be touching that. Secondary market specialist, buy 5 properties on the secondary market.
Level agrees with me. It's always been pretty low, about 5 for the 14.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it has always been pretty low.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, I must have just got confused with the whole Sparklet.
It's always been
so.
The 14.7 was always easy to get, as long as you just played the game a little bit. You didn't even have to be a hardcore player, just a little bit, and you'd always get 14.7.
Yep.
The reason why most people couldn't get the 15.1 is because of that referral. So unless you're dodgy, it was just too hard to get that referral.
Well, I got those 5. That's easy to get. Secondary market, I'll get that one. Metaverse shopper, I do that as part of just the day-to-day stuff anyway. Spark stake 150 Spark hours, easily done.
You already done that. You did that probably in the first 2 hours. Yeah. So, and Jimmy's probably right. Yeah, 150 hours. Like if you've got 100 Sparklet, like 100,000 Sparklet, yeah, that's an hour and a half's work. Yeah. So, and he's right. There probably will be another city release soon. So, or an expansion.
Yeah.
If there's 5 collections, I guess I'd have to be a release, but 5 collections is a lot. That one worries me.
Yeah.
And I filled 2 collections literally the day before they announced this. And I'm like, what? And last season I held 5 back just in case they did it, and they didn't. And this time I didn't even think about it and filled 2 collections the day before this came out. And I was like, David, you're an idiot.
What they'll do there is one of these, these daily short-term ones. It'll be like these cross-city collections or something like that.
No, I don't think
There's
so.
plenty of ways they can do that.
I think they're just trying to stimulate the secondary market.
Maybe. City builder, complete construction on structures in 3 different cities. I've got showrooms going up, so that should be easy. Mystery mission, weekly bonuses. Yeah. So that's kind of cool. I mean, I like it. I'm not going to be pushing for this one.
So there's no mystery this week, though, was there? Does anyone know? I'm assuming there wasn't one.
It certainly hasn't been announced. If it was, it's
Yeah,
a real mystery.
well, they said 6, and I guess there's 7 Tuesdays in this season because we started on Tuesday. So I assume it's every other Tuesday. But that means we almost finish on a Tuesday then, doesn't it?
Oh, there was some debate about that last time too. I know there was some debate about if I burn mine now, it was Tuesday night. Our time, is it too late? And this, that, and the other thing.
Well, that's what I did.
Involved in all the drops, you got to get it and burn it straight away. Just guarantee you.
I bought and burnt the season's pass in the morning of the 1st of October, forgetting that's not the 1st of October for where it really matters, the west coast of America. So I'm like, God damn it. I may have just screwed myself there, but it turns out you don't need to burn at this stage anyway. You don't need to burn anything. So, and if it turns out if you do, I'm going to be pissed off because I literally burn it. Well, it was the 1st of October for me anyway. But Upland don't care about global time, do they? So,
no. Ace and Angry both confirmed the first one starts next week. Yep. So
I figured as much because I hadn't seen anything for it. But that'll probably be the first one to burn something.
Yes. And last but not least, of course, we had recently the Frederick City release. I wasn't going to get up for this. I did end up sending my car over to Washington. As you talk about long trips, I sent that off before I went to bed, and I was going to get the train over. I disembarked in Washington, and I thought, what, I'm just going to check out what the secondary is like before I go through the hassle of going over there and getting it. And what do you know? I found right in I don't believe it's in the downtown neighborhood because that was one of the things in the Mark Ferguson video that he was blowing up about. Everyone's known that. If you've been around for any length of time, you know that it's not going to show up here, but the label for that neighborhood goes into the center of the boundaries.
It was confusing.
So, it is. It's always been confusing, but he should know that. He should well and truly know that. That's not a new thing.
There would have been a lot more heard about that if there wasn't the false start, and then because the original start would have been the whole city at once, and people may have got confused and started minting like crazy in the wrong area and not realizing until afterwards, and then obviously whinge and bitch and carry on. But because they did the stress test and they made the stress test the collection neighborhood, you couldn't mint in the wrong area. You could only mint the right area, so it didn't matter if you didn't understand. It is confusing, but
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I just Lily just sent a message. I was trying to read it. Look, it didn't take Einstein to look at it and go. You could see that there's obviously maybe even a tiny bit of confusion, but you can see there's I think the airport. If you go slightly to your right, I think it says something about an airport or something. Yeah. So you could see. Hang on, that's already got a label, so downtown doesn't belong to that. So it shouldn't have taken you too much.
Yes. So I ended up getting these. I forget old mate who had them up for sale. They were 80,000 UPX each. So I jumped on those straight away. That was definitely. I was expecting to pay way more on the secondary for a showroom size property there. I grabbed 2 of them. The other one's for sale. When it's available for USD, I'll just flip that one. I don't need 2 of them. So. How about yourself or anybody in chat? How'd you go?
So you bought them on the secondary market?
Yes.
Not because I bought. There's still mintable properties now that are showroom size.
Yeah, there are, but I was in Washington and I had a look and I thought 80,000. Yeah, that sounds like a good deal to me. I probably could have got a bigger one, but it's going to be away from the train terminal and you know, the
That's
hassle
still
of getting over
that
there.
has still been a 50% markup or something.
Oh, well, no, it was. I think it was way more. It was
Yeah,
expensive in air quotes, but I've paid a hell of a lot more for a hell of a lot less for a showroom property around the place. So that didn't faze me one bit. And I was going to flip that other one for USD anyway, so worked out all right.
you should have just jumped on the train. You would have paid 50,000 for the same thing.
Yeah, probably. But instead, I just bought that one up, helped somebody out who was looking to flip, and got back in my car and went straight back to San Francisco and went to work. Headed off to San Francisco and went to work.
Where is
Basically
Frederick?
slept in. Lily slept in. Hasn't even looked. Kind of. Where's Frederick? Yeah.
Northwest of Washington.
You have to access it by train from Washington or the airport train station there.
Actually, I don't know. I thought you could drive to the launch pads in the cities. Was that only ever South Lake Tahoe?
Yeah, I thought you could too, and I went to do it, and it's like computer says no.
Yeah, same deal.
Yeah, and then I had to try and work out. Okay, so where the hell can I get it from? So
yeah,
I figured
the train goes through. You didn't have to go to the airport. Yeah, it wasn't too bad, but
yeah,
I did get involved. Yeah, it was a lot of effort because it was so high demand. Everything sold really quickly. I managed to snag one collection out of it. I was hoping for better than that, but you know, what can you do in such a high demand, small supply? So it is what it is. So everything that was worth buying went really fast.
yes. So one thing I didn't touch on too. I talked about this with SC Kicker as well. What did you think about that whole last minute? Oh, we're doing a live karate combat crossover thing with old mate Doug Hype in chat, and
yeah,
nice.
SC asked us that question the other day too, and I don't have any opinion because obviously I have no knowledge or experience whatsoever. But it just comes back to the same problem and the same thing I say week in and week out: communication. I planned get an F and always have got an F. Communication.
Yes, absolutely. Angry says there was an error trying to drive, but they fixed it either right before or after the release. Oh, good on them. So apparently you could, but yeah, you definitely couldn't when I tried.
I thought you could. I was in Queens at the time, so I had to drive from Queens, and I tried to drive straight there and then went nope. So I had to drive to Washington and then caught the train. But you know, no big deal.
Yes, absolutely. All right, now, what have I got here? Oh, if you're in the one of the live participants, don't forget to drop the hashtag horror to go in the running for a bunch of UPX and a very kick-ass set of 6 spooky map asset graveyard thingos from Laban and his Graveyard Goods Metaventure series, hashtag horror. All right, we're going to move on to a couple of mini community spotlight things that I've got set up for this week. First one, of course, shout out to the Evergreen Lahser node. We've got a tweet here from old mate Rodrigo and the many fantastical charts that he does. Yes, congratulations to Evergreen Lahser and all the community around them for becoming this month's community-driven collection inside the Upland Metaverse. Let's keep going. Was very fun to be a part of that whole process and get a bit more involved with the team over there. Great bunch of guys and girls and whatnot over there doing fantastical things. Been around for quite a long time, just boiling away on the back end. And I don't think, probably not since St. James or somewhere like that, we haven't seen a chart go exponential like that. Bella Rose obviously followed suit, but yeah, those dips there. I don't know. Maybe that was the correction when they.
I think so.
They played around with trying to fix up that stupid thing
I think that's
jumping ahead.
Exactly what it is.
Yes, but hell of a chart there. Yeah, there was some last minute shenanigans going on. There was a lot of competitive fun here, there, and everywhere. Dare I say a bit of dirty tactics at play at some stage in the back end as well, but all worked out well and good in the end. It kept us on our toes, kept us sweating right up until the end of things. A lot of fun, like I said. And if you're wondering about how to find out more what's going on at Evergreen Lahser, there's a link to their X account in the description, HG Collective at Evergreen Lahser on X. believe Coach Funks is one who keeps this updated. He's always posting heaps of cool stuff in there. So go and check that out. Now, I might have to hand it over to you, to Swarley, or somebody in chat to go on a bit of a rant here, because I have to get ready for just an absolutely monumental giveaway. And as I said, just before we got kicked off, I had to restart my computer and I lost all the bloody tabs. I did have this big massive giveaway all set up ready to go, but what do you know, it all crashed and burned, and I have to get this ready for 1,300 entrants. So
1,000.
take me a minute.
Wow.
1,300 entries that we ended up with. Yes.
Oh, a heads up would have been nice, and I might have tried to get something ready. But any questions in chat, maybe? Questions about anything? I'll take any questions.
Well, I'll just put it to you then. As myself, as somebody who's kind of taken a bit of a back seat, most of the stuff I do in Upland now is DMs and whatnot, and checking in on the DM situation. What's your go-to now? If you're, I know you've kind of taken a bit of a back seat as well with the UGC stuff. When you log into Upland, what do you do? What keeps you active?
I'd say a fair chunk. I can't put in percentage. I'd say a fair chunk of my time, maybe 80%, is UGC, creating UGC and just all UGC. Not so much getting on the channels or chatting with other UGC. I do that a little bit. And then the other 20% will be just chatting to different people. Whether it be people that have contacted me, there's obviously people that work out I'm Australian and will message me because they're Australian or expat or something like that. So sometimes I just end up sidetracked and end up just chatting with different people through Discord or whatever for ages. I was referring them to you once upon a time for interviews from here and there, like someone like QIPS was a perfect example.
Yep.
But I would say those two take up the vast majority of my time. And then obviously each night I'll usually sit down with dinner to the missus and I'll get the laptop out. And that's when I usually try and move stuff around to different showrooms, trying to fill them up. I don't have the showrooms like you do, so I don't know how you do it so much. But it's just, I don't know. There has to be an easier way to even just track what you got in the showroom, let alone move them. I mean, moving them is one thing, but to know what you've got in each showroom without having to physically go there, like, it's easy in the sense that I've just got the box. Most of the stuff I do is a structural ornament, so they're the boxes which are labeled. So I've putting the extra effort into making them in rows so I can count by looking at them without having to actually count them, like how much I've got of each one in each showroom, so then I can know which ones to top up. I'd rather just be able to dump them, like when you just hit send and dump it there wherever it decides to dump it. But if you do that, then you got no track on what you got. But you know, some people think that's a feature of Upland, not a nothing else. It's to try and deter us from, or deter people from wanting to do more UGC. And to be honest, I can't argue with it. I'd like to see look at latest Blender UGC lesson learned.
Oh, you're gonna crack the seal there, Angry.
Hang on. So what latest Blender UGC? What's my latest one? You're always learning. The day you think you've, I mean, it's like anything in life. You're always learning. If you think you know everything, that shows you how little you know.
Yep.
The problem with learning, so especially from the Upland point of view, is it takes 6 weeks to get a reply. And then by that time, you've moved on to so many other projects. And you got to go back, dig up your old project, fix it, and then send it off again. And then you're looking at another 4-6 weeks to get a reply. And it's just so frustrating. It's not that they're wrong with their resubmit reasons. I don't have an issue so much with why they're resubmitting. It's just that the delay in having to do it. Like I've got one at the moment, it's one structural element that's pushing 6 months of resubmits, but because it's just such a long time in between. And once you get a resubmit, you're right back to the back of the queue. You don't get to hold your spot and just update it or fix it or whatever. I logged in for it. Yeah, I got that because I've been doing a lot of, in conjunction with a few different track owners and stuff, I've been making a lot of racing track fences. And each color has 6 different pieces that go with it. So there's about 40 odd pieces all up with, I think, 5 or 6 different colors that I've got. And every single one of those got resubmitted in one hit. I woke up one morning and saw like 60 emails from Upland. I'm like, oh, maybe I sold some stuff overnight. Nope. It was all rejections, every single one of them. I was like, and there were simple little things too, like something that literally takes a minute to fix each one. But now it's obviously because there's 40 odd items times 4 files with each one, so you got to update each one. So each one's going to take 5-10 minutes to do times. So it's taken me 2 full days to sort of get through it. But it's not so much that, it's the fact, and I don't disagree with why they're resubmitted. Like, I can see what the issue is, and I'm happy to fix it. But it's now I'm going to have to wait another 6 weeks for them to look at it, and that's the frustrating part. Like, I've done my waiting. Like, surely you don't have to go back to the back of the queue, but you do. That's the way it is. I wish they would change. Anyway, we can whinge about that all day long. It's not going to change.
Yes, so I guess that covers Angry's follow-up question there. Lily says, I just don't want more stuff to move. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I know she got burnt out with it. I'm fearing that I'm going to get burnt out with the track fencing. Yeah. I'm not doing that for a profit thingy. I'm trying to do that because, especially working with Elslack, and I wanted to work with you, but Ben, but your track apparently wasn't going to be suitable. I want to create a track that visually, when you're looking at it from above, when you just bring up the properties and you can see all the lines and all that sort of stuff and the properties, that you can clearly see where the track runs as best as Upland can, because obviously you can't put barriers over roads and stuff, but as best as Upland can let you do it, have a track fully outlined. And at this stage, I think Elslack's track over in Granada Hills is a good candidate, but we thought we must be getting close to giving that a real crack, and and then we get this setback, and it's like, oh, well, there goes another 6 weeks. It is what it is. The joys of UGC.
Theme of the day. All right, let's move away.
It's different designs.
I've got this for. Yeah, that was all before I got kicked off.
Yeah.
All right, I'll just give you a glimpse into what we got going on this evening. A bunch of stuff to give away. I've got 500,000 UPX to give away for the EL78 campaign. So there's going to be 9 winners there. Every other entrant that put a submission in will win a map asset or a structure ornament. Those were donated by HDF Collective, care of Coach Funk, Ace Collectibles, of course, Aceman 696, and Versatile Styles from the Gin Skrilla Man and Samurai Aquatics as well. Yeah, Swarley, what were we going to say?
No, I was just agreeing with Lily. She doesn't want to move stuff anymore, and I'm only new at this, and I'm already starting to see why that's the case.
Absolutely. Oh, am I sharing? No, I pressed stop share. You knucklehead. Let me go back to it. All right, now I've never used this name picker before because obviously I wasn't going to fit 1,300 names on a wheel of names. So this is apparently some fandangle thing. I've checked them all in. So that's not 1,300 individual people. Some people qualified for lots more entries based on what they had to do. So everyone's name's in there, 1,300. So that matches. Now, as far as I know, I press this button and it's going to pick us a winner. The first winner, that's going to be for 100,000 UPX. Let's see who's going to win that. Oh,
I got excited then when I saw Dave, and then I went, that's not me.
Yes.
Well done, Dave.
I'm going to take a bit more care to write these down tonight because, like I said, I've got a massive list to get through now, I believe. Pick another winner. So this is going to be for 90,000 UPX. Oh, hang on. What happened there? Let me try again. 90,000 UPX. Goes to Mars, Utah. On your Mars. And now, he sent me a DM because for this, this wasn't an automatic qualifying thing. You had to DM me, you had to tell me your details. And I think he said, I don't usually enter contests, but here's me details. And what do you know, Mars? Well done.
Well done.
Now, I think I just push this again. Or did it kind of glitch out again? This is for 80,000 UPX. No, it's going to do that every time. All right. 80,000 UPX goes to Maui.
No, well, it wasn't my band, but it's in the family.
Yes, Maui, congratulations. That was 80,000. Next up, 70,000. 70,000 goes to Awesome. Been around for a very long time. Huge supporter of all the stuff that's got going on around the place. That was 70,000. Next up, 60,000 UPX goes to. See your name there? No, Hamoville. Congratulations. It's not over yet. Next up, we've got 50,000 UPX. And And that goes to WW Dog. Congrats. Woof Woof Dog. Maybe that's it. I don't know. And now we drop down at significantly 25,000 UPX. Goes to Alpha. Look at that.
Boo!
Thank
He'll
you,
be
Elflack.
stoked.
And
He'll be stoked.
next 15,000 UPX goes to Ring. And last but not least, the 10,000 UPX goes to 8696.
Hey, nice. Am I even in that draw?
Congratulations. Yes, you definitely were. Now,
that's all good.
Remember, everybody who submitted an entry, you do guarantee yourself a prize. Like I said, there's map assets donated, structure ornaments. I'm not going to sit here and roll it another bloody 38 times to see who gets what. So I'll find some way to randomize the pick for that, and I'll drop all the details for that sometime over the weekend. I'll drop that in the Evergreen Lahser Nodes Discord channel as well at some stage. So thank you, Evergreen Lahser, for what's going on. And if you, like I said, if you want to find out more about what Evergreen Lahser's got going on, I've done an interview not too long ago with Coach Funk, and of course there's the Evergreen Lahser Discord, of course, and the X account as well. But that is not the only little kind of community spotlight thing we're going to do this week. Now, one of the fun things that happened in September as part of the whole node push that Evergreen Lahser was successful in taking out is there was a very intense battle that kind of, I don't know, it turned out, if you look at that chart, it turned out that it was never close at any stage between Creedmoor, Bellarose, and Evergreen Lahser. But anybody, Vapor Guy and Ace in chat, I don't think anybody would suggest that we didn't feel like it was close. Certainly the pressure was on. It felt like that, for sure.
What made it interesting, if that's the right word, was the fact that the scoring went into darkness for the last 4 or 5 days of it, and nobody knew. And then there were certain moves made by certain people that went, hang on, is this enough or isn't enough? Like, what's going on? And you just don't know. And that mystery was like, even for some of that, like I had my home set in Evergreen, so I was helping at that push there, but I don't have a huge vested interest in it. And even though I was like, I wonder what's going on here, I'm like, I wasn't confident. And then when I finally heard the news, I was like, yay, justice is in the world. So I dare say Creedmoor will be this season. And that makes sense, given harvest season. Well, there's a big push there. I've already moved my home address over to Creedmoor to help out with them this season. So
nice. Yes, it's going to be interesting how this new node versus node mechanics plays into all of that. I kind of talked about this with SC Kicker. I personally don't like it at all. I wish there was a way it could be, I don't know, a bit more positive or something. I don't know. The whole system just seems like it was designed by people who don't really have an understanding of what the community has done and is looking to do with these kind of neighborhoods that we coordinate to develop together. It seems like, I don't know, somebody's read some kind of game theory and just thought, oh, we'll slap that in here. Kind of doesn't seem to match in with the way I thought the community was being set up. But who knows? Maybe you're out there and you love it. So I hit up Shacklin, I think it was a couple of nights ago, and said, I want to put a bit of a spotlight out there for you. And she got this graphic together for me. Creedmoor has, ever since they've been around, they've always done fantastic things, especially as part of this season, of course, being associated a horror node or a hub and with Halloween and that. And she gave me a little blurb here to read out. We highly recommend players join our server to participate in the many events we have planned. Prizes include property, structure ornaments, go-karts, map assets, plus the commemorative map asset for everyone who lets us know they set their home residence. So that shows it there in the graphic, the top right. So kind of like what I did with Evergreen Lahser. You can't just assume if you have your residence there that you're going to qualify for this. You have to let them know, hey, this is my in-game account. This is me. This is my residence. Best way to do that is just screenshot it, and probably if you can't get into the Creedmoor Hub Discord to do it, send Shaq a DM or get on over to their X account and share it through there. But you have to be proactive to be able to qualify for it. Shaq goes on to say that herself. She says, the biggest point is that the players need to get into our server, or there she go. She said in the server specifically, and post their home address in our home residence channel. Oh, look, they're being very specific. She doesn't want to track down everyone myself, and we had a bit of a back and forth. I was like, yeah, that's kind of what happened to me. I had some DMs, hey, why aren't I in that entry list for Evergreen Lahser? I'm like, well, I don't know how many times I have to say you have to actually be proactive and send me the details. So I expect lots of cool stuff on the way for Creedmoor, and if you are free to move about with your home residence, definitely consider going over there and check it out with Creedmoor. Myself personally, I've never jumped out of my home residence in Midtown Terrace ever, except for that little push we did with Evergreen Lahser. Now, with the changes with node versus node and whatnot, I'm pretty much going to go down with the sinking ship there.
Fair enough. So, in relation to Creedmoor, I am in that Discord. Shaq is so active in there, it's not funny. There's prizes and giveaways and auctions and stuff going on all over the place. There's even a free channel, freebies channel in there, which yours truly is part of. So go check that out. If you've got properties in Creedmoor, you might be able to score some free stuff to decorate your properties with. So if you're not already all over it, get all over it, because I'd be very surprised if they don't get there this season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how she does it, to be honest. There's probably half a dozen Discords I try to stay semi-active in, and pretty much every day I go and try and have a look at something. Shaq's all over everything, all over the place. So, yeah, she's an absolute treasure in the community.
She is so busy, it's not funny.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, yes, and yeah, I'm still very much associated with the Evergreen Lahser project. I was fortunate enough to be one of the seed heads as well. So yeah, definitely going to keep an eye on and be active with what they got going on there. It's one of the ones that's high up on my list to check what's going on when I get up in the morning before I scramble for the in real life job and whatnot. So yes, absolutely, vape high guy. And I'll just share this as well. Creedmoor Hub, they've got their X account over here at Creedmoor Hub. Lots of stuff going on there, like I said, and there is a link to their Discord channel. The link to this is in the description as well. So go on over and check out what they got going on at Creed. All right, now we're slowly working our way through. That brings us to the main topic for the show. Now, I had a few people say, what's this all about? What are you trying to do here? Well, it kind of matches in with the theme. Yes, it's way too early for Halloween, but I'm only doing one official show in October, so this is going to be it. The inescapable, bone-chilling horrors of Upland. What are we talking about there? Well, I recently put out an open survey question to the Upland community, which was, answer this question. What are some of the many ways in which you believe Upland can and must improve to support their vision of being a Web3 ecosystem for digital entrepreneurs to stake their claim in the metaverse, create value, and engage with a global community of players? Now, I've noted down a bit of a prologue here. The response to that survey was overwhelming. I was very surprised. I got responses on X, in-game chats, DMs, all over the place. A huge thanks to the many people who replied. There was some very well thought out and some monumentally extensive submissions, including screenshots and all sorts of stuff. Several of those requested anonymity for varying reasons, which was one of the options, I should say, I put out there. Due to not wanting to stick my foot in my mouth with those requests, and to ensure I was able to capture the general tone and vibe of all the content, I was thinking, well, how the hell am I going to do all this? I'm not going to sit here and go through all these one by one. So what I did, a bit like Swarley, you said before with your Sparklet segment, I worked with ChatGPT to summarize the responses. I tried to give it a bit of a light-hearted and harvest season sentiment, but didn't want to gloss over any of the real concerns that myself and many others in the Upland community have about the current state of things. So a bit of a note for transparency, food for thought and thanks. I will post the full set of replies with the names redacted. Of course, the people who wanted theirs redacted in the NBA server at some stage over the weekend. There's a lot there to go through. As I said, some really good content. I won't be copying and pasting over some of the screenshots and whatnot, but just the general text. I'll put that in. So here's what ChatGPT and I came up with, noting that I edited it down significantly so we aren't here all night listening to me drone on, and I apologise in advance for the embarrassment that's to come. Remember, I am a kindergarten teacher in real life, and exaggerated story time, well, it's one of my most favourite parts of the day, and maybe it goes with the spooky theme. I am got my shitty audio on, so maybe that's going to match in well. It'd be nice to have sound effects and whatnot, but it is what it is. We'll stick with it. All right, so hold on to your socks. Here we go for the very first iteration of Story Time with Ben68. The story is The Inescapable Bone-Chilling Horrors of Upland by the Upland community and ChatGPT. Introduction. Welcome, brave souls, to a bone-chilling 8-chapter journey through the foggy, shadowy corners of Upland, where the promises of Web3 entrepreneurship meet the spine-tingling reality of a metaverse still haunted by its own missteps. Tonight, we dare to confront the horrors of Upland. What started as a bright vision for digital entrepreneurs has turned into a complex maze where transparency is murky and the path forward seems blocked by frustrations and, yes, technical glitches that are enough to make even the most seasoned Uplander shudder. But what horrors lurk in the shadows of Upland, you ask? Well, let's hear from the brave Uplanders themselves, who've peered into the dark abyss and come back with tales of woe and warning. Gather round as we dive into the crypt of concerns, each one more chilling than the last. Chapter 1, The User Experience, a Maze of Frustrations. Now, one of the most frightening aspects of Upland is how complicated it's become. From clunky interfaces to confusion over how new players are supposed to get their feet on solid ground, many Uplanders feel like they've been tossed into a haunted house with no map. As one community member put it, the game is ugly, it's complicated, it needs major improvement, end quote. But dear listeners, let me ask you this. What's been your scariest experience trying to navigate the eerie streets of Upland? Have you ever felt lost in its twists and turns? I've been playing this game for 5.5 years now, I think, and yes, I would hate to think if I was a new player starting right now, how complex it must be to try and get your head around everything. Just think of things like transportation. Wow. I even struggle with that now myself sometimes when we go to places.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, Chapter 2, Transparency and the Ghost in the Machine. Now, perhaps the most bone-chilling horror of all, a ghost that haunts every corner of Upland, an apparent lack of transparency. Mr. X1, as we'll call him, perhaps says it best, in quotes, Upland needs to be more transparent with what they're doing. The more they release, the more obvious it is that the casino is their bread and butter. It doesn't seem like they respect their customers, end quote. So I guess he's alluding to the fact there with all of this, gambling aspect with, what do we talk about, landmarks and whatnot. So yes, this is the kind of haunting that doesn't just go away with the flick of a switch. So Upland management, if you're tuning in, what are you hiding in your shadows? Or perhaps more importantly, what would happen if you stepped out into the light? Would you burn up in flames? Who knows? So much of what we try to navigate as a community is bits and pieces of information, often ridiculously confusing, sometimes contradictory, and of course there's a growing list of ghoulishly hidden algorithms that often dictate the fate of us as individual players and large sub-communities. The neighborhood collection scoring system being a prime example. That. Chapter 3, the Customer Service Crypt, where pleas for help go unanswered. The support team, or as some of you have called them, the gatekeepers of the underworld. Mr. X2 tells us about the horror of reaching out for help only to be met with bans and silence. It seems that for some players, trying to get some support from Upland feels like they're summoning a spirit. You're never quite sure if they're going to respond or if they're going to banish you instead. Or in my own personal and recent example, they bizarrely take credit for an issue that you yourself fix after conjuring up an unnecessary workaround. That was an interesting one, that one. So Upland, why does reaching out for help sometimes feel like stepping into a cursed graveyard for some players? And to the players out there, what's been your most nightmarish experience dealing with Upland's customer service? Bit of a side note on that one. To be fair to Upland, the positive community support situations that I've been in vastly outweigh the negative experiences that I've had. So, and they do at least tend to deal with things rather quickly, even if it's not to players' satisfaction, oftentimes. Right, Chapter 4, Gameplay Improvements, a haunted world in need of repair. Next, we visit the cemetery of gameplay features that have decayed over time. Upland's treasure hunting was once a thriving adventure, but according to Mr. X3, in quotes, it's been nerfed to oblivion. Properties are losing value, and racing, a skeleton of its former self, littered with problems. End quotes. And here's a question for all of you. How can Upland bring life back to these dead zones of gameplay? What's the treasure that would keep you hunting? Now, yes, we've kind of talked about this before. We've seen that treasure hunting on PC is going to be resurrected, but is it too little too late? Yes, there's whispers of layer 2s and layer 3s and more to come at some stage soon, and not forgetting that most of those have already been born to the system now lie dead and buried as rotting remnants of lost promises and hints to what might have been. Looking at where we are right now, is this anywhere near enough mini gameplay to capture the minds of a mainstream player base after a whopping 6 years of development? Don't need to answer that one. It's a rhetorical question. Chapter 5, the technological black hole where innovation disappears. Then, of course, there's the technological black hole that's swallowing Upland's potential, from smart contracts to staking features, and one of the most requested features of all, property management tools. Yes, maybe even some better search functions. Players like Mr. X4 are calling out for advanced tools that would let them truly build in the metaverse. Yet, we're still waiting. Why is innovation stuck in this void? Upland, how long will we be trapped in this space before you let the community unlock the full potential of the platform? And players, what features do you think are desperately needed to stop this free fall? Search functions? I mean, please, Upland, search functions? Sorting functions, perhaps, if you can't do search functions. Something, please. Anyhow, Chapter 6, the Real World Value Vanishing Act. Terror doesn't stop there. Oh no, Upland promises a Web3 metaverse for digital entrepreneurs, but according to players like Mr. X5 and Mr. X6, the connection to real-world value and business opportunity seems to be like a ghost in the fog, vanishing before our very eyes. Where is the seamless integration between virtual properties and real-world businesses that was supposed to be the treasure at the end of this haunted journey? Upland, if you want real businesses to stake their claim in your metaverse, show us the value that makes it worth their while. Listeners, what real-world partnership or features would keep you coming back to Upland? I guess that kind of alludes to as well, it's all well and good to have partners that we're buying stuff for, but we've mentioned this ad nauseum. If those partners aren't also promoting Upland on their end, well, what is the point other than just selling us more stuff that nothing's really happening? Chapter 7. Now, this one that hits home for me personally, the white screen of doom, the crash that won't let you escape. Now, dear listeners, we arrive at one of the most dreadful horrors of all, the white screen of doom. Imagine this, you're deep in Upland, maybe on the verge of making a big move, and then nothing. Just a blank, soul-sucking white screen that crashes your entire experience. Mr. X7 called it out, and many of you have felt its icy grip. The crashes on iOS are beyond frustrating, and they're multiplying. And most horrifyingly of all, if some of the screenshots from Upland support that were sent through can be believed, the issue isn't even on Upland's radar, and they are quick to palm the problem off, believe it or not, to the individual user settings, their hardware limitations, or their connection issues. Absolutely ridiculous. Upland, when will you finally banish the demon from the metaverse, or even acknowledge its slow but exponentially growing presence, which threatens to make the iOS app even more frustrating and unplayable than it already is? It is the number one reason why I myself have stepped away as much as I have, and why I can't do much at all, because I can't. It's just a white screen of hell. For those of you listening, what has been your worst experience with the white screen of doom? Did it strike at the worst possible moment? I've lost count of the times it's done that for me. If you're on Android or you're a PC only player, you might not have a clue what we're whining about. But believe me, if you're on iOS and you're doing anything around map assets or built-up areas, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Chapter 8, the final chapter, the two worlds collision, Layer 1 versus Layer 2. Finally, we arrive at the collision of worlds. Layer 1, the core of Upland, and Layer 2, the future that's struggling to emerge. Players like Mr. X8 and Mr. X9 warn of Layer 1 mechanics like treasure hunting being nerfed to the bone, while Layer 2 innovations are suffocating before they can even grow. It's as if two worlds are fighting for dominance, with neither of them winning. Upland, will you find a way to actively support Layer 2 to thrive, or would these constant nerfs leave both layers in ruin? And for you listening at home, how do you think Upland should balance these two layers? Don't forget that that kind of works towards the changes that just happen willy-nilly in the API really affect what the Layer 2s can do, adds extra work and whatnot. That's kind of what that alludes to as well. All right, in conclusion, open-ended community engagement. So, fellow Uplanders, now's your time to step up. Let's keep the momentum going. Drop your scariest Upland stories in the comments. And if you haven't already done so, tell us which part of the Upland metaverse gives you the chills. What feature do you think needs the most urgent exorcism and Upland management? We're dying to know. How will you heed these cries for help? And I've got a bit of an epilogue here and another call to action for Upland management and community. So, all right, let's end this haunted journey with some final words of warning. Upland, you've built a world that could be amazing, but right now it's filled with pitfalls, frustrations, and countless lost opportunities. The community is speaking loud and clear, and the fixes need to be made before the spectre of delusionment claims more souls. To the Upland team, we call on you to communicate openly, fix what's broken, and truly make this a space where digital entrepreneurs can thrive. To the Upland community, let's do what we can, keep pushing, let's keep building, and let's do all that we can to continue to make sure the Upland metaverse becomes the thriving world we know it can be. So, what's your next move, Upland? We'll be watching from the shadows. The end. Thank you very much. If you managed to get through all of that, you deserve a pat on the back because, yes, that was pretty horrendous. Kind of. Remember to like and subscribe. That's a good way to finish that one off. How many times did you throw up in your mouth through that, Swarley?
A couple. The white screen one gets me frustrating. I would have had and this would be anyone that's moving map assets around. Have you ever tried to, especially with fences and stuff like that, you ever spent time to try and get everything nice and neat and tidy, and you might have been moving stuff around for like 5, 10, 15 minutes on one property, and then you hit save, and it goes, there was a problem. And everything you just did for 15 minutes was, and I'm like, I just want to throw my phone away or my computer away. I don't want to redo everything I just did. Oh, it is so frustrating.
Yeah, it's you mentioned this, it might have been the last time we chatted too. The whole issue with moving stuff around map assets to a property that has a structure ornament on it. I just recently had to deal with myself, and I'm like, this is what Swarley's talking about. I'm flabbergasted that hasn't been fixed. That really sucks.
It's been weeks now, and I'd like to think that it's not personal, but in the UGC channel, I get a lot of help from other players. It's fantastic. There's a number of players that will answer questions and whatnot, but I cannot get a response from staff. And I try to report that to staff like weeks and weeks and weeks ago, and I thought it was me and my structural ornaments. I thought there was something that I had done wrong, and they were playing up in the game, and it was all me. And it was another player that went, "Oh no, it's not just you. It's happening to a lot of map assets. It doesn't happen to all of them. It seems to only happen to." Well, as far as I could tell, it seemed to only be happening to UGC ones, but then again, not all UGC ones. So a lot of the Upland made ones, and let's face it, Upland have different rules, so they do things differently. But whatever their rules that they're using isn't affecting the problem, and what we're being restricted to is, look, it's way above my pay grade. I mean, I've reported issues with the templates that you use for structural ornaments, and this has been going on for a couple of months now, and nothing's been done to fix the templates. They're just it's mistakes and problems happen. That's fine. We understand that, but there's no communication whatsoever from the. I'm sick and tired of tagging the team, and I don't get a reply. And I tag him the second, third, fourth time. I still don't get replies. I'm like, why do I even try? Like, I'm not whinging because I'm not getting what I want. I'm saying there's a problem with this template. We need to fix it. So anyone that's using this template doesn't run into the same problem I did. No, crickets.
Yep. Yeah, some of the screenshots that I was shown, like people raising the issue of the widescreen crash and the way it was just, we can't replicate that on our end, or we're not seeing that. It must be your user settings. That just blew my mind. I'm like, you got to be freaking shitting me.
You're not using an iPhone.
Oh, yeah, geez. Anyhow, so I do have a giveaway to do for everybody that put submissions through as well. This is going to be 25,000 UPX after fees. We'll see who's going to win that. And that goes to... I don't know how the volume went on. Look at that, 6 foot 6.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I thought
I say it was
6.
Nope. It was pretty close. 6 was close.
Alex Xavier. Now, I'm going to do a bonus one here. This is going to be a Halloween sign care of Samurai Aquatics giveaway here as well. You're still in for a chance. Oh, Maui might have it. Kamazan, Maui.
Oh, Maui. Maui's taking all the band's prizes.
Yes.
I just want to comment on Level Up's. Not so much question, but comment. The layer 2, so API changes and Upland not supporting layer 2. So I was thinking about this, and I'm not in the market to buy, but obviously we all know that the Upex Exchange, not the Upex Exchange, sorry, the Upex land is up for sale, and as far as I know, it's still up for sale. I haven't found a buyer or anything like that yet. Part of me goes, I would love to own and run that personally. I'd absolutely get a kick out of it. I've done a bit of coding in the past, done a bit of website development in the past. I would need to learn a lot to do it. I get that. And part of me goes, I have no clue what money they're looking for, whether it's even in the part that I could afford it. The one thing that stops me from making any steps forward towards that whatsoever is the fact that I'd have to work with Upland and rely on communication with them. And in my 2.5 to 3 years of dealing with Upland, that to me is just a massive red flag, and I want absolutely nothing to do with it. And that just goes to what Level Up is saying, is that is the biggest problem. I mean, I'm watching what Nextworld does and Jonathan and those guys there, because if they can't get this thing to work properly, if they have problems and end up being all too hard for them, I have great fears for Upland. I mean, that's a team that know what they're doing, are dedicated, working hard, creating some fantastic looking stuff. I don't understand exactly what they're doing or how it's all going to be implemented, all sorts of stuff, but we'll have to find out over time. But if they can't work with Upland and get things to work right, then what hope does anybody have?
Yeah, I always that's I bought a silver statue for that too. I'm hoping that works out great. I think back to not gun tech. There was another layer 2 where it was like the shooting range or whatever, and there was going to be all these packs of weapons you could get. I interviewed those guys way back when that was all kicking off, and those guys were mega passionate. They had some incredible ideas about what they were going to do and implement. Haven't heard nothing since.
They were over in Arlington or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But we just see layer 2 after layer 2 after layer 2 just sort of wither away and die. And the common factor is Upland, and then the communication, and it's a full-time job just adjusting and all the work, like you see with Spark Exchange and stuff like that, going down for days at a time because they've got to readjust everything because APIs have changed or something like that. There's no forward communication from what I understand, not that I'm in the loop or anything. But as I was saying, part of me goes, I'd love to get my hands on some of the things that I'd love to try and do with Upex Land. I would happily take that as a full-time job and work on that. But even if it was a price that I could afford, and I just wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. And until I start seeing things change, and that's why I'll be watching Nextworld very closely and probably get involved in it. Because to me, that's almost like the last hurrah, so to speak, I think, in terms of layer 2.
Yeah, well, Angry mentioned one there too. The soccer game was the first, and well done. Never heard any about it anymore. That was kind of out of their hands, so I think that was
A
the
licensing
kibosh was
issue,
put on
wasn't it?
that by FIFA. Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe so. But you think it would have been able to be rejigged to get around that, but who knows? World of Football, yeah, something like that.
That was, I think, Shaq had a lot of involvement in that, didn't she?
Yeah, yep, absolutely. All right, we're going to move on. We got some more giveaways to do. Midtown Terrace residents. Yes, don't forget there is lots of opportunities now to get involved in Midtown Terrace. There's properties there for sale on the UPX and USD floors. And don't forget that becoming a resident in Midtown Terrace includes entry into monthly prize draws with a minimum of 100,000 UPX and other bonuses. There's still plenty of time, of course, to get involved for the October snapshot. As I said, with plenty of options available in the secondary markets. As for the September Midtown Terrace resident snapshot, I wasn't a resident for Midtown Terrace in September, so I had to put the call out to a couple of residents to get the details for the snapshot. So thank you to everybody that did so, and thank you to everyone who did stick around in Midtown Terrace for another month, or who, like myself, temporarily jumped out to go to Evergreen Lahser, and they let me know about that, so they kind of got a free pass on that one. They've all qualified for the Tier 1 giveaways, and thank you very much to the 2 new residents who've joined to qualify for the Tier 2 giveaways. Let's give away some more stuff. So we've got the Midtown Terrace resident wheel here, Tier 1. I'll make sure I got the right one. So this first one is going to be for 50,000 UPX. And that one goes to... I took my name off there, didn't I? Yes, Plasty. Congratulations, Plasty. He's pretty active. Get you out of there. That's 50,000. Next up, we got 25,000. 25,000 UPX goes to... Firebird might have it. Nope. T. Tolson, I think he got it last time too. T. Tolson, congratulations. Don't know how active he still is, but he's going to get some uppings. Next one, 15,000 UPX. That goes to Coco Sass's actor. Oh, look at that. Yeah, Levan, has he got it? Oh, Maddox has got it. Levan, yes, he was temporary out in EL78, but he still qualified because we knew what he was doing. So congratulations, Levan. And maybe I should shuffle. Shuffle. We got one more to do for this one. No, 2 more. This is 10,000 UPX. CERN S4 might have it. Congratulations, CERN S4. 10,000 UPX on the way for you. And we've got a mystery map asset bundle, a real bundle.
Bundle.
That final one. That final bundle goes to Bloodless. Been around for a very, very long time, Bloodless. So that's our Tier 1 residents. Thank you. So I can jump out of there. We'll jump over here. Only two Tier 2 residents, but we do have 2 lots of UPX to give away, so I only have to spin this once, and we'll see who gets what. Whoever it lands on, they get the 15,000. Whoever it doesn't land on, they get the 10,000. Dizzy... I'm going to write this down carefully. Dizzy D. How do you read that? That's one of those fancy names. D and E.
I'm trying to work out if the 3 is must be another E or an S maybe, but no.
Bit like Caesar. There's always
Dizzy
Denise. Tricky
Denise.
names. Dizzy Denise. I don't know.
So just clarify again. What's the difference between Tier 1 and Tier 2?
Tier 1 residents have been a Midtown residents for more than a month. The Tier 2 residents, like if you jump out of Midtown Terrace to go and do something else, if you let me know that you're going to do that, chances are, like the band did, I'll give you a hall pass to maintain your Tier 1 status. If you don't, you're just going to be lobbed back into the Tier 2. So Dizzy D and Bompkins, if they stay around in Midtown Terrace for October, they upgrade to Tier 1 status.
Fair enough.
So they're both going to get the UPX, and I'll give them a map asset each as well. So yeah, I don't know how I'm going to play around with that in future with these changes to what's got going on the collection upgrade thing and whatnot. I'll see how we go. But for the time being, we'll stick with that system. All right, moving on to QIPS. Now, like I said, I put the call out for more QIPS, and then I had to turn that tap off pretty quick because it's going to cost me an absolute fortune. We got a bunch to get through. I'll try and race through them because we are getting along for time. Angry Ursia just absolutely smashed out a whole bunch. So he started off by saying, my suggestion for handling QIPS going forward, retire it. My bank balance would certainly appreciate that. Continue accepting them when you have an offhand episode. They will be there ready. Yeah, that's what I'll probably do. Continue accepting them and have a dedicated show when enough accumulate or when the desire to have QIPS episode strikes. I recommend a QIPS only episode to have a co-host who has a chance to read the QIPS ahead of time and consider them. Yeah, we've done that before. We've made use of that.
You sent them to me. Yeah.
Yep. The trouble with the QIPS is a lot of them tend to be they're active for that week that they're involved. They tend to age out rather quickly. But it makes sense if there was some like maybe what we did with that special Paris episode. It'd be cool to put out a quick shout out. So that's why you got to be in the NBA server. If I'm going to do that, it'll be a tag in the NBA server. Hey, we're putting the submissions out for questions. I think that's the way we go. So that was one. Angry Ursia goes on to say the new collection hoods competition is interesting. I wonder if smaller nodes with little room to develop, Midtown Terrace, for example, will have enough room to compete, show growth. Will new residents maybe be weighted more heavily than Spark Hours? I think with newer nodes being added constantly at lower ratings as we work our way down the leaderboard for not yet collection nodes, hoods like Midtown Terrace will be safe and not to have to worry about being in last place. This could be very good for Upland, but it really forces nodes to develop their individual onboarding and retention plans, processes, and incentives. I kind of mentioned that in my rant about the algorithm. That's one of the things we don't know how any of this is weighted. Even big brains like Rodrigo and that have tried to work it out. They have a lot of tricks up their sleeves, but Rodrigo and I believe all of that whole side of things, they were fully pushing the Creedmoor push and they couldn't crack the code to defeat Evergreen Lahser in September. So who knows? Yeah, don't know. Is Midtown Terrace safe from being in last place? I think any of the old, established, fully developed nodes, you're headed for a downgrade. There's no way you're going to be able to fight it. It just is what it is. It's only a matter of time. You're kind of delaying the inevitable there. He's got another one here. When will the Sparklet giveaways drop back to normal rates? I feel like this NFLPA thing will be dropping a ton of Sparklet into the pool. Swarley, you want to take that one? How much Sparklet is too much Sparklet to give away?
We passed that line a hell of a long time ago. In my summary, I said there's 142 million Sparklet currently in circulation, which is about the right amount. I think everything points to that being fairly accurate. If we were to assume that, say, a Spark was 1,000 Sparklet prior to the TGE, that number would have been well under 50 million, well under. So when you triple or quadruple a supply of something in a short space of time, what do you expect the price to do? There is you can't expect Sparklet to take off and start increasing in price while you keep giving away so much for free. Things like the Road to New Orleans one, that one's a great promo, and I'm 100% behind that one. I think it's fantastic. I've mentioned a million times that the purchase / earn Spark airdrop, absolutely pointless. Shouldn't have been done. Can't reverse it now, obviously, but that's the one that's really killing the whole, in my opinion, the whole thing.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you on that one, mate, I think. So, yes, that's not all. He continues on with another one. Renting Spark seems to be barely holding on. Not necessarily a bad thing. Maybe this will encourage more participation in community building. We did see a bit of a revival there with the Evergreen Lahser push. I know a lot of the Evergreen Lahser community members were actively renting Spark via the Spark Exchange to do that. I can't imagine.
We've got so much of it now. Everyone's got so much of it now, and they haven't rebalanced it, which they will do. And when that happens, that'd be a shock to a lot of people, I think, depending on how much they rebalance it. But then when you've got things like New Orleans, you don't need Spark because just set up a build. Someone else will build it for you because they're all wanting to get the free Sparklet. So I mean, I put a bit annoyed about this actually because I didn't really want it, but I put a apartment up just a couple of days ago, and I was going to come back when something else finished and put more Spark on it, and someone else has come along and maxed it out. And I'm like, on one hand, I like the fact that you're building my building for free, but on the other hand, I'm like, I kind of want to do that myself for the Spark drop. So, yeah, if you've got properties in New Orleans, just if you want to build, just start it, and someone else will come along and finish it for you. But yeah, until the market's flooded, so until they do this rebalance, which will bring it back into the line a little bit, not properly, but a little bit, things like the Spark Exchange are going to struggle.
Yes, that reminds me of the point that I meant to bring up at the earlier news kind of stuff. We did, of course, have an upgrade to the EOS blockchain where it's now not taking 3 minutes every time you want to do any sort of interaction with your Sparklet. It's not taking 3 minutes to clear. I did see some people saying, "Hey, well done, congratulations, Upland." Had nothing whatsoever to do with Upland as far as I'm aware. I think Buellerman pretty much confirmed that in some of the comments that he was putting out there. It was just purely a EOS blockchain upgrade.
And that'd been mentioned
1 second blocks.
That'd been mentioned ages ago too, hadn't it? So it wasn't like it was a surprise. I wish it had come in a couple of months earlier when I set up my 200 and 300 builds or whatever, and I had to set my alarm for every 3 minutes. That was a long day. Now I could have done it in a fraction of the time. So yeah, it is what it is. So I mean, that's a nice little life improvement. I wish Upland would join the party with life improvements.
Yes, quality of life improvement, absolutely. All right, and one more from Angry. What surprise twist is coming with treasure hunting returning to browser? He gets the feeling something else will be changing at the same time that gets released. I kind of put it out there. Hopefully it's going to come with, all new fandangled bells and whistles. You seemed a bit skeptical on that one, Swarley.
When have Upland ever done that before? What do you mean? What surprises? I mean,
only made things worse and taken things away.
Well, maybe they might make things worse. It's only going to come back to standard hunting to begin with, which is fine. I agree with that. And to be honest, I don't think they should have taken away from standard hunting. I don't think the main problem was anything to do with standard hunting. And so they could have just switched off competitive from the get-go and gone, and then maybe monitored standard a bit more. But I mean, if you're cheating to do standard, you didn't need to cheat to do standard, to be fair. I could do 100 a day. Time-wise, it was a bit time-consuming, but without any real drama. So, and that was just doing it legitimately. So, are they going to make treasure hunting better again? Well, if they rebalance Spark and then the treasure hunt, say they rebalance Spark, 4x to what it is currently now, and make the rewards 4x to what they currently are now, maybe that'll entice people, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah, we just one of those wait and see what happens.
My guess is
my
guess is when they do the rebalance, everything will just double roughly in Spark hours, or all the builds, but the prizes for treasure hunting won't change at all because they already rebalanced them. Well, they changed them just recently, so they're not going to change them again.
Wait and see. All right, we've got a different one here from 6week6 who says the cafe and theatre bundle is selling something that he's wanted for Upland since he began playing, the ability to build and design your own interior space, invite other players over to chat, share your NFTs, and music would be great too. In brackets, he's put when is Upland getting sound. However, the price seems high. Hopefully this is the beginning of something great. I guess I need to start saving my UPEX for the next round. 6 weeks. I think you must have got over 400k out of me this year, surely. Feels like it. Feels like I'm sending you UPX every time or every week. You thought they were well priced, Swarley. I thought they were pretty well priced for the opportunities that were available. Although I do note that I believe the secondary mark was in the order of $800 or something. Did I read that correctly?
And I don't, which blows my mind because if I understand it correctly, there's a lot more of these coming. This 14 aren't the only 14 or whatever they're coming. There's going to be upwards of like 50 or 60 or something like that of them, if not more. So why people are FOMO? People just, I don't know. That blows my mind. But yeah, I don't think 200. Well, the cheaper one was 250,000 uppies. What's that in US dollar terms? It's what, $70, $80. We paid more for cars. Like,
yes.
I don't think it's overly overpriced. I mean, totems were costing $55 each, and people were buying 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. So no, I think it was, and because it was an UPX price, I don't think it was overpriced. But again, I think poorly done.
Yeah, I don't think it was overpriced. Yeah, I don't think so. I thought they were pretty reasonably priced. Probably just I was expecting that. I thought it was going to be like speedways where everyone was going to get the opportunity to do it, but it kind of makes sense that they don't want.
I would like
to learn the lesson with that. Too many.
I would like to see sales like that, especially something so specific.
Yep.
Not making tradable. So once you buy it, it's yours. So you can't trade it.
Yeah.
So that way you only get people that actually want it. And like, I know they want to sell them in the first place and then make money on the secondary. I guess, I don't know. But like this, just buying it to flip it so you can make a profit. Like, no, I don't like that part of it. I mean, I get there's a secondary market, but in something as specific as these cafes, they should have just been bought for the people that needed them or wanted them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I tend to agree. But then you got to put it. It's your assets. We always talk about. Well, you should be able to sell some of the things that you can't sell on trade too. So I mean,
but
I get that.
They put a time limit, like maybe like you won't be able to sell these for 12 months or something like that, or and then you're only getting people that are actually interested and want to develop it and do it, rather than just people that just want a quick cash whatever. You want to flip stuff, go flip properties. That's what the game's for. Yeah. I mean, there are broadcasters out there that wanted this, and then anyway.
Yeah, I definitely would have if I had have. Not that I got up for it, but if I had have, I would have flipped it. Because I can't. It goes back to the thing with mobile. I can't do anything on mobile, even if I try and get involved with these things. It just doesn't bloody work anyway. So you get put in potato mode, or you get booted, or.
Well, that brings you back to the original mode. I'd rather see them fix and improve what we have than keep bringing out new stuff.
Absolutely.
And this seems to be like the third iteration of trying to do this sort of cafe broadcast. I mean, we've had the theater, the cafes in San Francisco, Left House's theater. Has that had anything in it in the last 2 years?
I
mean, I don't know.
Well, that movie. That might have been a movie ago. Yeah, a year ago, maybe.
That rabbit hole or whatever it was. And then it hasn't been, as far as I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't keep on top of everything, there hasn't really been much else going on with it. I mean, it was pretty cool. It was a good start, but and now we're round 3 of trying to rehash the same thing, and we can't even search our properties. So
yes, pretty frustrating.
I had an art display. I do remember something about that.
Yeah, but yes, if that's something you definitely want to get, I'd imagine if they come up for sale again, it's going to be the same or similar price. So definitely save your UPX for that one. All right, Schweinasser has asked, can Upland standard collections compete with the node spawn collections for the collection upgrade competition?
Nope.
Technically, we were told that yes, back in the day, because I remember DJ Shorts' node, what was it, Sunset in San Francisco, that's already a collection, but I believe it was clarified that yes, you were going to be able to, even if it was already an existing collection, say it was a rare collection, one of these areas, Dumbo in Brooklyn or whatever, if you got together as a community, previously there was talk that yes, you were going to be able to upgrade that, but as long as it went in with all of the other mechanics that went along with all of the other.
Well, the short answer to that is no, and just go look at the leaderboard. There's 16 neighborhoods on that leaderboard, and not one of those are a current collection. So short answer, no. Maybe ask X1 or Upland about that one, because I believe that was the case too. I remember, I think Loyal Doyle was trying to get Regent's Park in Queens. I know that he wanted to try and compete with that, and obviously he's gone off the ball anyway. But yeah, so the short answer, 18 it is.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're all the neighborhoods that have a gain collection. There's not any current collections in there. And to be honest, why aren't but then you wouldn't probably lose. You'd never get knocked down, would you? I mean,
Yes.
would current and proper collections, if they were put into that list, could they lose being a collection because people aren't actually?
So if it was a rare, if it started as an already a rare collection, sure you could upgrade to ultra rare, but could it downgrade to an exclusive? Yeah, no way. That's people would burn the place to the ground if it's like that.
Yeah.
Surely.
So be careful what you wish for. Everyone's got a lot of collections. You want all your collections dropping down a notch each season. You can't support all of your collections.
Gosh, I hadn't looked at this list until I just put it up. I cannot believe how the hell is Midtown Terrace in 8th?
You're in the middle. Yeah, I looked at the other day.
Hardly any resonance. That's crazy. Wow. All right.
I do, but I think there's a couple of things that do favour you. I think one, they were trying to rebalance the already created or already completed structures, so that might help you a little bit, but you don't get the advantage of creating new stuff, which I think still overpowers or outweighs already created. So, like I said, I don't know how it would work because eventually it'll be too overpowered, but if maybe up to a certain point, if the longer a structure was built, the more points it was worth or more score it contributed to the neighborhood ratings. But there'd have to be a cutoff because otherwise, eventually, you've been around 5 years. New neighborhoods would never be able to compete with you because you've been established way too long. So then you'd have the flip side of it. So how you figure it's a double-edged knife, whichever way you look at it. I don't know. But again, you are in a city that is a treasure hunting city, so that's definitely got to help you.
It could be too. A lot of these ones too, like Quailwood, probably Monero, they've been involved in the push with Creedmoor. Yeah,
all helping other neighborhoods. So everyone will go. I think over the next 6 weeks, you'll start to see it sort of settle out, the dust settle, and people's the cream. Look, Howard's Beach is obviously another. That's been a strong node for as long as I've been around, and I'd like to see how they go. Active. I'm not too active with them. I'm in their Discord, but that it's obviously going to take years. But I'd love to see one of these neighborhoods get to ultra rare status at some point. Like that would be, that'd be pretty amazing. Can it happen? It's going to take a long time.
In time, yeah, absolutely. We'll have to wait.
I'd have to come first every season, and anyhow.
Well, you can't because if you upgrade one season, you have to take a whole season break to the next one, and that's going to be. You got to maintain your development over that. Yeah, I mean it's going to be fascinating to see how it plays out.
Just in the leaderboard channel, Angry, on Upland.
I can drop the. I think I can drop that in. Not even.
Yeah. So Lily's the same thing. Just in the leader. It's probably one of the best channels they've actually released, to be fair. You can find all the leaderboards there. They're not too hard to...
I'll just drop that in there too. Yeah. All right, so we've got a couple of NFLPA quips now. I don't have a clue about NFLPA, but we'll run through them. Hot Corner says, the current NFLPA contest has finally got me to purchase my first NFLPA legits. Well done. I anticipate I will regret this decision at the conclusion of the contest. I grew up a sports card collector, and buying collectibles that are not licensed by the teams has always been less than satisfying and usually didn't hold any value. Can someone give me some hopium to tide me over to the big game? That was my take on it when the announcement first come out. There was many in the community saying, "Oh, this is massive. It's a partnership with the NFL." I was one of the people that said, "Hang on a minute, read the fine print. This isn't the NFL. It's the NFLPA." And my first question was, "What the hell is the NFLPA?" I thought it was some side league or something, and then that it was explained. So there was that aspect. And then there was the aspect of we saw the legits and why are they selling baseball caps for gridiron football players? That never made any sense to me. So, yeah, I don't know. If you're looking for somebody to give you some hopium, it ain't going to come from me. What about you, Swarley? You got any hopium in your lungs?
I'm not into it at all. I'm not into it at all. I would say maybe watch Slack's videos. I know he's trying to get into it a little bit. Rikuria has appeared on a few other people's channels, and he's right into it. I think he's up there as probably one of the most, probably the Rodrigo of NFLPA. I watched him talking about it, and whilst he's obviously somewhat excited, I think he's disappointed with the rewards. And in his words, it's more about bragging rights than what you can get from it, which to me is like, well, I don't care about bragging rights. So, if the prizes aren't worth the squeeze, then why are you getting involved? So, and in terms of and Lily's saying there for the New Orleans Spark, you only needed to own one legit, which for whatever team that was, if you only owned one and only that one before the 1st of October, then that was the team that you were going to be placed with for the New Orleans stake. So it's, like I said, it's only a very loosely tied to the NFLPA, that staking. Yeah, I'd say reach out or try and get in contact with Recruiter and what interviews and what channels he appears on, because if there's any questions to be asked, he's the man to ask them.
Yes, just be cautious of getting too cozy with people who are sucking hardcore on that hopium bottle, because you might get yourself in a world of trouble there too. We did see official NFL players in the game with their own little bloody, thing that's saying that they're legit. Weren't you supposed to be able to go to different events and get stuff signed and balls and fire stats, and what happened to all that sort of stuff?
No idea. You're asking the wrong person there.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems very thin on the ground. It goes back to my earlier point where it's all well and good to have these partnerships and to sell this stuff, but it has to be supported on the other side as well. Lily, good reality check there. Oh, sorry, we both put it at the same time. Don't get too FOMO'd in stuff you aren't excited about yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've tried to do that more and more as I've gone on, to think, even that last Frederick release, what am I buying this for? Is this for a reason? I bought 3 properties there to tick off the collection. I'm going to sell 2 of them and hold one as a showroom property. NFLPA legits, all that sort of stuff. Doesn't matter if it's Sparklet associated. What am I actually going to do with this? Play within your means. That's never a bad thing to do. Wolf Warner also has an NFLPA related one. I believe he says, is it me or is everyone pulling linemen in their NFLPA legits bundles as opposed to superstars and rookies? I'm wondering if they are more limited in quantity. If so, Upland might as well allow NFLPA shop owners to sell those players as special bundles as they do with car shop owners. Seriously, if you think you are getting a rookie or a superstar in your first few bundles purchases, think again. You're going to have to keep on plucking away. I miss the old style of picking who you wanted. Yeah. Can't really add anything to that. Yeah. I don't even know what alignment is, but obviously it's not something you want to get. So.
It's... Oh, well, I won't try and explain it. I know enough to know that, but that's about it.
Sounds like somebody should be working on a fishing vessel.
It's the people that do all the work and get no credit, basically.
Okay, well, that makes sense. All right, 2 more to go. Scientist, he's got a provocation for us. If Upland would consider current player base as partners rather than as customers, the game could much faster develop into a direction that was fun, entertaining, and attractive. They use us for some feedback poll every other year and for proofreading their announcements, reporting by Discord General. That's hilarious. But the product and every new idea is just thrown in front of us for us to buy and follow without any prior cooperation or trustful interaction. A new player can hardly feel like they're becoming part of something big, growing even bigger together with the community. They must rather feel like Upland just wants to sell them NFTs, and veteran players like me feel the overall direction is unknown to us and possibly unknown to Upland, and it needs strong motivation to blindly follow along, knowing that we don't have any impact or chance to influence their direction. I think we've touched on aspects of all of that through tonight's show. Yes,
like
I kind of share some of your sentiments.
Yeah, it's like it's in my head. I've been saying that for 2 years. How many times I mentioned the word stakeholders? Without us, there is no Upland. Without Upland, there's no game. Like, we need each other as much as each other need the other. Like, but they don't treat us like that. They just treat us like cash cows. People have been saying that for ages, and I guess while there's enough people that keep FOMOing into the crap that they keep releasing, they'll keep doing it.
Yep.
So
Yes.
I don't know.
Chapter 2 in my ranty story: transparency and the ghost in the machine. Yeah, I'll review that one.
There is no transparency, not even close. They tried to say they were going to be, but no. I was saying, like years ago, there was all this talk about being decentralized or whatever, and they're as undecentralized as anything can be. It's the most, which is not a bad thing. I keep saying that it's not a bad thing, as long as they're fair and somewhat transparent in what they do, which they're not.
Yeah, they've gone in the opposite direction, and I feel the transparency level for the kind of what scientists has kind of mentioned there has gone the same direction. We used to have, AMAs and all that stuff. That used to be a regular occurrence, and roadmaps and whatnot. All of that's been turned off, and it's, it's a shadow of what it was.
They keep saying they're going to do certain things. Like I remember at the end of the season or end of something, or end of a quarter, I think it was, they were going to showcase different layer 2s or different things in the game, and that lasted for like one time, and then they never did it a second time. Like, just things like that.
Because there's no layer 2s that survived to showcase. Yeah. So they could switch that around and do official showcases of certain, meta-ventures or something. There's 1,000 different things they could do. Yeah. I don't know. All right, we've got one more. Now, this was an anonymous one, so unfortunately I can't give you a prize. Anonymous says, Upland should have the right to... I didn't like this one. Upland should have the right to sell off and even build on properties of long inactive players to avoid old cities turning into dead zones. I hate this idea. What about you, Swarley?
Sorry, I was reading Lily's chat. My bad. Can you repeat?
So this anonymous person believes that Upland should have the right to sell off or build on properties of long inactive players.
Well, no, because they're... Well, I mean, they have the ability to do that. We know that. They could at any stage take properties back from us if they really wanted to, even though they're a blockchain thingy. Very different to other games. When you own an NFT in another game, you actually own that NFT. They can't. It's like your Sparklet. If it's in the game, they own it. If you get it out on your MetaMask, then it's yours, and then Upland can't touch it. So, but I mean, if we're going to be a proper crypto game, no, they shouldn't be. As frustrating as it is, especially when you're in a node and you've got dead properties and stuff like that. As frustrating as it is, I mean, I wish there was a time limit on how long a property stays for sale, and then revert back to not being or something like that. I don't know. But that's just crypto, I guess. Like you can't. I mean, where do you draw the line?
That's exactly what the point that I was going to say. How do you judge the long inactive? What's the line in the sand? Maybe they put a line in the sand and they say, okay, from now on, if you're inactive, we can resell your property and you're going to lose it. But that's not what many players, there'll be hundreds of people who have bought into Upland, they've built their little portfolio and they want to sit on it. They want to come back and check in it in 10 years and see what it turned into. You would be severely pissed off if you came back and it's all gone. It's all been sold because of some announcement that you didn't happen to see because the rules have been changed on the game that you signed up for. Yeah. And I actually got a DM through the week. I won't mention any names, but this will give you some idea. Person says, yo, I'm trying to get back into Upland. Would you say it's worth it? Reopen the app after I don't know how long. It's been well over a year. And I liked how much progress I've seen, but also so completely overwhelmed. Just curious if maybe I've been gone too long to even understand the game anymore. I feel like I have some decent properties, maybe though. I replied and said, you've been away for a while, and yeah, a lot has changed. Probably the number one thing being that passive UPX earnings are no longer passive. So that's kind of an example of something that got changed, and plenty of people have got butthurt about that. I said, you have to be at or engaged for a while every season now to ensure you've done enough to get on the checklist to maintain your rate. If this isn't something that's of interest or feasible to you, meaning being actively evolved every season, then it might be better to start selling up. Who knows, though? Maybe you leave it for 5 years and you come back to a gold mine. Not if they decide to resell your properties.
Sorry, just changing to Lily's comment. I don't disagree with that, maybe, depending on the circumstances. There needs to be some more fine print about that, because not everybody that goes to jail doesn't get out of jail. So obviously there's going to be some sort of time frame. But it does bring me to back when I used to do the numbers for you. There are accounts that have been jailed that have since been deleted. How are those properties not just put back on the market as to be minted? Or sold in a bundle or something like that. Because they definitely have the ability. We know they have the ability to do that. I mean, that's definitely interesting, the jailed ones. So, food for thought.
I think jailed accounts. I don't agree with the fact that they cannot sell their properties. I think that they should have some kind of leeway period. If you have whatever you've done, if you've got a 5 million UPEX fine, you should be able to have that. They should be able to turn around and say, look, you've got 6 months to get that to us. Of course, if you're going to buy one of those jailed properties, you've got to pay the extra fees and whatnot, surely. But yeah, I think that whole system is not managed as well as it could be.
Yeah, if you've got to sit idle for 6 months while you just slowly let the UPEX build up in your account, it kind of defeats the purpose. You should be able to sell off your properties at least, even if you don't want to intend to play the game again. But the jailed properties that are deleted accounts, and I know there's a bunch of those from my times doing the numbers, to me that's a no-brainer. If they've deleted their account, then delete everything. Have nothing, delete them off the database altogether, and maybe have a jailed property bundle sale or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I like Cass's comment there. Hey, Cass, maybe not taking resale props from unengaged uplanders, but instead a community associated and push startup build somehow. Yeah, it'd be. I play that. What's that other metaverse map? Atlas Earth. That's interesting. There, if your properties that you buy there, they sprout flowers, and then other things start to grow. A tree starts to grow. Yeah, maybe if you haven't attended your property, just like in real life, well, it gets some kind of bush grow on it automatically, but then it's stem and blah, blah, blah.
I did see somewhere, because you got obviously neighborhoods with dead properties with people that aren't, left the game or whatever. And I did see somewhere that someone made the comment, we should be able to have grow a forest or, a bunch of trees or turn it into a park or something. So at least when you're looking at your neighborhood, you might have houses everywhere, and then might be a bit like Central Park, where you've just got a nice big green patch where a dead property is, basically. And then so that would be an interesting. That just made me think of that when you're talking about the flowers and trees growing on the property. So it'd be good if Upland did something like that, even make it look better.
Before you could sell that property, you had to buy a consumable legit. That's a bloody lawnmower hirer that's got to cut down your weeds or something. There's 1,000 different ways you could gamify that whole system.
Yeah,
have a bit of fun with it.
I don't know, we come up with ideas all day long, but
if nobody's listening, what's the point? You're just pissing in the wind, as they say. All right, let me go back and wrap that up. So, yes, thank you very much for that. You've all earned yourself 10,000 UPX after fees, well, except for Angry Ursio, who gets 20,000 UPX for the extra effort and 0 UPX for Anonymous. Noting the changes from a weekly to a monthly show schedule, this may well be the last QIPS segment we do. I did put in here, if you've got any suggestions on how to do something similar with a longer downtime between segments, though, I'd love your input by DM, but I think that's what Angry replied to at the get-go. So, yeah, we'll always do something, put it that way, for community input.
I know
Levan
wasn't happy you removed the QIPS.
Well, he got in just after I shut it down, because that's 70,000 UPX I'm giving away just for QIPS segments. So, yeah. Of course, I can always just drop that and say, you get a map asset or something, or you get nothing. Who knows? I'm sure people will still put submissions in, but, I like to have fun and give some back too. So, All right, if you are a live participant and you've just joined us, don't forget to drop the hashtag horror to go in for the live draw giveaways. I've got a bunch of UPX to give away and 6-pack of Graves, Care of Laban, and his Graveyard Goods Metaventure series. All right, my gosh, we're really going long for time. All right, let's get into it. In this week's Getting to Know Community Members segment, care of Mesme and other members of the Dynamic Node Builders team, they're featuring Gin Skrilla, who is currently a director. And when I took the snapshot about 24 hours ago, he had a net worth of just over 6.5 million UPX, 401 properties, and coming up on 200,000 UPX in his pocket. His home residence is in the mighty and triumphant Evergreen Lahser 78 neighborhood of Detroit. He's got 69 structures, 41 block explorers, 23 vehicles, 757 map assets, including 5 totems, and he's got 28 structure ornaments. Not only that, he is the owner and operator behind the very cool, versatile style Metaventure series, and I did bring up
He's supposed to be sharing
a little cardy. Yeah, I'm pulling it up now. There you go. So there you go. There's a free plug there. Gin Skrilla and Versatile Styles. What has he got? A little blurb here. Versatile Styles offers a unique collection of exclusive NFTs designed with style and hip-hop inspiration in mind. Each NFT is crafted to combine artistic flair and elements of the vibrant hip-hop culture. Showcase your love for the style and hip-hop by owning these one-of-a-kind digital assets. He's got a website there as well, and lots of cool stuff going on. I like the graffiti he's got on those street wall barriers. They look pretty cool.
And they look
link
pretty
to the
cool.
description.
In Evergreen,
They look awesome.
setups in Evergreen.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking at it here, and I'm like, I look at it and go, yeah, it's okay. But then when you see them in place and in the setups with everything else in Evergreen, some of those setups are pretty kick ass.
Yes. Speaking of that, I did note too, I was moving some of the Samurai Aquatics Halloween signs around the other day, and they've done something to the brightness level. They were always really dark in the NFT view. They've turned up the brightness on that. So thank you, Upland. That's something that's been requested for ages. So that was definitely very much appreciated. So yes, don't forget to get over there and check out what Gin Skrilla's got going on. The link's in the description for that. But let's have a sneaky peek at what he's actually got going on with his account. Let's see if he's still got the same amount of UPX, 401 properties. All right, so he's saving up for something. Progress charts, very hodlerish. His properties net worth is kind of battling with his mint net worth. And yeah, pretty standard hodler account right there. A couple of big jumps, probably serial releases. Good on you, mate. All right, let's move on and have a look at his official DNB survey responses. In-game name, Gin Skrilla, Uplander since December 2021. Been to Las Vegas? Yes. Of course, he's been to Genesis Weeks. Occupation, I got dough. Nice, good on you. Famous fact about where you live. First complete dinosaur skeleton found. That's cool. Tattoos, yes. Celebrity you know the most about. I was going to read that as Alien Invasion, but no, it's Alan Inverson. Start a charity, dog shelters, never do again, live in Vegas. Interesting. There's got to be a story there.
Too hot.
Pet peeve taking surveys. And I'm a rampant survey putter out there. Sorry, what were we going to say, Swan?
I'd say too hot in Vegas. That's I think the number one thing people say about it.
Is it? Yeah. Most common internet search, market news, survive the zombie apocalypse. Fuck yes. Guilty pleasure ice cream. 3 Uplanders you chat with regularly. Oh, we've got the EL78 crew here. Coach Funk, Vape High Guy, and A696.
And we're missing our superpower again. How rude.
Yeah, that's not in there.
No.
Maybe you can let us know, Gin Skrilla, in the comments. If you could have a superpower, what would it be? All right, what are we up to? Oh, we're going to give away some more stuff. The NBA server competition wheel. This used to be a weekly challenge, now moved on to a monthly challenge. I put the blast out for this. What did I do that? A week ago, maybe 3-4 days ago. So last month's challenge, which was really for this month, in the contest channel within the NBA server, you had to let us know what was the best thing that happened for you in Upland during September and why you think so. Now, this used to be, what did it used to be? 10,000 UPX after fees. Well, if we're only doing it once a month, I've bumped that up. All participants will roll for the chance to win 35,000 UPX after fees, and you'll also have a shot at the 15,000 UPX bonus prize. That used to be 5,000. And of course, that also gives you an entry into the massive end of year show giveaways, including the 1 million UPX grand prize. And we've also got some show sponsor prizes to give away tonight. Thanks again to Laban and his map asset MetaVenture Graveyard Goods. Drag your bones over to visit one of Graveyard Goods showrooms currently located in Oakland, Los Angeles, Queens, Detroit, and Kansas, and bring your property to life or death with some killer gravestone map assets, terrifyingly affordable and guaranteed not to leave you in the grave financially. So we'll do the spin for this. If I've got the right wheel, did it again? I keep pressing stop share screen. I'm going to stop share screen. Let me check. Monthly challenge prize. Well, yes, I've got the right one. So this is going to be, done all that. This is going to be for 35,000 UPX. Straight off the bat. Did you get one in, Swarley?
I think so.
You missed this one.
No,
Man, he's got it again. Holy moly.
Holy. I thought I did it. I don't know.
Maui's got it again. Maui's on fire. Absolutely on fire, Maui. All right, let me see if I can find what Maui said. Where is she? I think she might have been one of the late ones. No, she was in nice and early, just after the band. Where is it? Maui. Didn't mind the Sparklet drop. I also like the NOLA building assignment since I'm a bit fascinated by vampires. Cool. So nice to see some activity in NOLA. Good on you. Easy as that. We did have the bonus 15,000 UPX. That goes to the super positive outlook for Cassandra, who's in the live stream. Cassandra said, my favourite news in September was the incentive to build up NOLA. With all the conspiracy, urban history, vampire lore, witchcraft and ghost stories in that city, it would make a great layer 2 someday. Who knows? You could throw some beads from the balcony. And she rounded off her post with some great emoji action. So 15,000 UPX on the way for Cass and 35,000 on the way for Maui. Ladies, cleaned up the monthly challenge. Good on you.
Well done.
As for this month's challenge, well, just like last month, you're going to have to keep your eyes out and the contest channel in the NBA server as we get closer to next month's show. Prizes to be determined. I'm basically blowing my entire budget and all the giveaways I've done tonight, and I have to start saving for the 1.2 million and change I'm going to give away in the December show. So here we go. Old man Ben might be tightening up the belt, being a bit of a Scrooge next month. See what happens. All right, so that brings us to the very last thing to do. Oh, no, shit, I nearly forgot. What am I doing? Let's go back to the wheel. You're still in for a shot here. Sorry, LeBan, I nearly forgot all about that. Is he screaming in chat? No, he might be asleep, or he's gone back to work. We got to go back. We got some
working.
Big prizes. We got some big prizes to give away. So let me go back here. I better shuffle it. So this is for not one, but 2 6-packs of Graveyard Goods gravestones, care of Laban. Now, this would be perfect for some of the things you have to do for your gamified earnings. You're going to tick one of the boxes off there. We'll buy something from the store. So Laban's in there. Obviously, I'm going to take Laban out for that.
Laban just gave me some good news too.
Oh, yeah? What was that?
I'll tell you in a minute. I'll let you do this.
We're going to spin this, and we'll get onto that. All right, we're going to spin this twice. So the first 6-pack of Graves, care of Laban and Graveyard Goods. Oh, you just missed it. Casts.
No. That's all good. It's all good.
Cass is cleaned up. Well, she was on the wheel, but she got the bonus. So, yeah, no, that's all fair enough there. Well done, Cass. Reach out to Laban, and he'll hook you up with how you can go to get a hold of those. I'll shuffle it again. Is Maui on there? She's off, isn't she? She can't possibly win. Wild Jazz is on there. There's another lady in there. Oh, I've got to take Maui. Did Maui get it? Yeah, she's already got that. So I've got to take her out. All right, let's see. If Wild Jazz gets this, I'm going to call Conspiracy on the Ladies. Nothing. No, Wolf Warners saved the day. Very good, mate. Congratulations to you. Same deal. Reach out to Lan and he'll hook you up for that. All right. What do you got for us, Swarley?
Well, since this is a sponsored show by the band, and he just gave me a message in chat saying he just got something approved in his structural ornament factory. So he obviously won't be available just yet. I will share screen and show you what it is, though. Entire screen.
Let me
so I believe this will be a harvest season. I could be wrong on that, but I believe this will be a harvest season structural ornament. But from what I understand, he said he just got notification that this is approved. So no doubt he'll start manufacturing of this really, really soon. So if this is something you want for, I don't know, Creedmoor, it's a small townhouse V1, so the slope roof townhouse. That's only size or only version of this at the moment anyway. Yeah, so this is something I helped put together for him based on, I think there's a movie called Monster House. So there's a house, I think it's like a CGI type movie. So it's sort of modeled a little bit on that. We weren't sure if that would go straight through or not, but it has. So we wanted skeletons and stuff like that on it, but it was going to be too hard and too much. But yeah, so this hopefully will be available for sale through Leban soon. So if you like it, hit him up. I'm sure he'll take orders. I don't know what he's selling them for. Well, that's for him to figure out. But so that might go nicely with the prizes he's given away tonight.
With the gravestones, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's really good. If you're just listening on the Spotify, very cool looking house. It's got a mural of a big massive spider web on one side, and then a big monster face.
It's not a mural. That's 3D.
Sort of monster face. Well, it's 3D, is it? Look at that.
Yeah, wow, so you can. Awesome. That was all hard work done by yours truly. Yeah, so it came out a lot better than I thought actually. So I know he was stoked.
Skill level's gone through the roof.
Yeah, well, I can't get anything of mine through, but apparently you can do it for other people. So anyway, that's enough of that. It's all good.
That one.
I'm happy for him. I'm absolutely stoked for him.
Absolutely. Looks very cool. I might have to hit you up to get some of them on reserve to give away in the end of year show too, Leban, depending on how many you've got as far as supply goes. All right, if you are a live participant and you have not yet dropped the hashtag horror in the chat, you need to do so right now if you want to get a prize. Hashtag horror, because I think that's what we're up to. And bigger prizes this evening because, like I said, we're not doing shows every week, so I'll bump these up a bit as well. That's the very last thing we've got to do, and then we're going to get the hell out of here. Right, before I do that though, I need to do this, don't I? We need to see who's going to play. All right, last chance, hashtag horror, going once, going twice, we're good. All right, let's see who's going to play.
While you're waiting for that to finish, are you happy to give away one more prize tonight?
I'll give away as much of the stuff, especially if it's not mine to give away. Absolutely. CERN S4, congratulations. Yes, what do you got, mate?
Well, spin this to find a winner, then I'll give you in Discord a list of the prizes so you can spin that to find what prize they actually get.
All right,
that makes sense.
There we go.
So I'll do that now. I'll do that now for you.
All right, so CERN S4, we're going to see what he's going to win. As I said, I'll bump these up now. This now goes from 15,000 UPX all the way up to 30,000 UPX, and instead of one mystery map asset, there's 3 chances at a 3-pack and 1 chance at a 6-pack of mystery map assets. Let's see what he's going to win. CERN S4. What do you got? Oh, he's got some more UPX out of me, or is it bumped over to the 3-pack?
Oh, that's UPX.
Oh, that's another 20.
You're a broke boy.
That takes us to 3 million for the year so far that I've given away.
Wow,
so that's pretty cool. I'm happy with that. I was
Who's
looking
given
at
away
2.98 million, so that's cool.
I'll be surprised if anyone can match that.
Yes, and then the 1.2 to give on the final show as well. So yeah, it's been a
I reckon you can push. I reckon you can push to 5.
Oh, I'm sure you would. So yes, we've got this is our what am I doing here? Sponsor prize wheel live participants. How did I do this? What have I done here?
It's giving away more Upix than Upland. Probably.
I'm trying to work out how to do this. What did I do? Where did these names come from? No, that's the one that I was supposed to spin for the thingamabobbo. And I've just forgot to do it. Oh, and I've closed down the thing, haven't I? Oh shit! How are we going to dig our way out of this one, Swarley? I've closed down the bloody giveaway wheel, the thing that collects the prizes.
Can you open it up again? But it won't.
Let me try.
You can't pick up where it left off, can you? Can you go to history and just open up the same page? Because I don't want everyone to have to redo it.
No. Oh, the website history. I could try.
Yeah, if you just
bring up the old one.
I don't know. Maybe I don't give away something.
Bringing up the... No, well, I screwed this up too because I was supposed to give away a because I can pull it up here if you haven't seen. I can pick it up here. Well, we're just gonna have to do it. This is going to be a longer one. This is going to be, well, let's say Ben is done.
Vape on the ball. He's putting horror in there again.
Penis. No, that looks like penis. Ben sucks.
ID 10T problem. ID 10T.
No, let's just do BS. Ben sucks. This is bullshit. There you go. Hashtag BS. Put that in there. Sorry if you dropped it in prior. Hashtag BS. Get your hashtag BS. We're falling apart at the end. We've been going for 2.5.
Okay, I'm just looking at who entered early on and see if some of those miss out later on. Maybe I can enter on their behalf.
Oh, you might be able to. Yeah, GP3. You forgot the hashtag. I don't think it'll pick it up.
So I think there's.
I think you have to do hashtag.
All right, if I win, people,
19.
Which I never win, but if I do win, it's for someone that did put the hashtag horror in earlier, but didn't do it this time round. And we'll figure out who that is.
Do that as. I'll have to look at the video back in slow motion. I'll do the same thing. I'll put one in. All right. Laban, I've given away more Upix than Upland. Probably. That's funny.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, there's a lot of people going in there, so we must have captured most people.
We got a few, yeah. So apologies for that. I just completely pulled up on that. We've got 13, so we've got everybody that's in there. I'm still sharing that. I already get it. Yep. All right. Let's see. So the first time I'm going to do this is going to be for the live participant, another 6-pack of Graves, care of the band and the Graveyard Goods. Somebody snuck in there. Good. All right. Oh, I should have. Well, I can't take Laban yet because he's going to go for the Swarley one. Let's see. No, don't be Laban. Oh, of course it's me. Fuck.
All right, it's you, but there is a player up the top. Where is it? I've lost it. Yeah.
Well, you find me the winner, and
the first name that I said, and correct me if I'm wrong, anyone in chat, the first name that I saw that didn't come the second time round was a Ryan someone. Let me just find where they were.
Oh, Roy 1088. That sounds familiar.
Where is it? No, Ryan JM. I didn't see that pop up the second time with the BS.
All right, we'll play Swarley's rules. Ryan JM. Now, can I roll again? Draw again. Yes, all right. So what are we drawing again for, Swarley?
A mystery structural ornament. And I've sent you a list so you can put that into the wheel and then find out which one it is.
Yeah, freaking boney. I just closed that. Wheel of names. I'll just put that in the monthly challenge wheel. And grab your DM. Oh, so this is what they're going to win.
Yeah, so just put that in there, shuffle it up and spin it, and whatever it lands on is what they get.
Okay, so we're going to do the giveaway tool to see who's going to win it, and then we'll see what they win. Don't be me. Don't be Swarley. Angry.
Angry.
It's the bonus. Angry Ursula. I'll just write that down. Congrats, Angry. Now let's.
I have a feeling Angry. Correct me if I'm wrong, Angry. I feel like you won last week off me. Maybe it was someone else. I can't keep track of all the stuff I give away. Not that I give away anything like you do, but yeah, baby, you did. Because I think you wanted I think you wanted something different to what you wanted, and I gave you what you wanted anyway, if I remember correctly.
All right. Well, he might be able to double down on it here. Let's see what he's going to get. Angry Ursula wins. A limited Swarley
Tower. So
limited
that's the
Swarley 129 tower.
So that's the grey tower, the grey spark chest tower. So the middle one.
Good on you, mate.
Yeah, I'll work that out with you later, Angry. I assume at Queen's again.
All right. If you've stuck with us this long, you've done very well to deal with my shitty audio and all the rest of it. Don't forget to check out Leban's map assets, Metaventure Graveyard Goods, to pick yourself up some epic gravestone map assets, perfect for decorating your home address and other properties in the spooky harvest season vibe. And yes, keep your eyes and ears out for when some of those structure ornaments that Leban and Swarley have put together, because they look very cool. Don't forget that links for everything covered in the show, including the show's sponsored showroom locations, are in the description. That's all we got for this month, and all things going well, I'll see you in November. I was talking about potentially doing a show at the beginning of December and the end of December for the end of the year. I'm definitely not going to do that. It'll be one show, possibly towards the latter half of December. We'll see how we go. Anything else you've got to add, Swarley, before we do
Let's
the
go
final
for 3
thing?
hours, apparently.
No, another 14 minutes. No, it's what is it? Almost 10 o'clock our time.
Yeah.
You would not believe how much longer it takes to do an upload from a 1 hour show to a 1.5 hour show. This is different because it's live. I may not even bother with the Spotify version until tomorrow. We'll see how we go.
Yeah.
See how we go. Because I could get up at 4:30 a.m. So
sucks to be you.
Sucks to be me. And on that note, have a great week, a great month, everyone, and we'll catch you in November. Well, you will catch me in November. In the meantime, don't forget to check out the show that Swarley does with Elslack each and every week. You still call it the Neutral Zone? That's stuck, hasn't it? Sure.
Neutral Zone, and some people joined. We had Jonathan from Next World join us last week, which was cool. Yeah, so we're happy to have people just come on and just talk about whatever. I mean, obviously it's mostly Upland related, not exclusively, as if you listened last week, they talked about prisons a fair bit. Given that more and more prison officers are coming out of the woodwork in Upland. So I don't know if that's a trend or what's going on there, but there seems to be a little niche group of us. Interesting.
Too much downtime on your hands, perhaps, when everything's all going well.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, we just talk shit, so it is a bit of fun.
All right, check it out. It's the Vulgar Uplander account. You can find that, or just search the Neutral Zone, and you'll be able to get on there. And yeah, if you haven't already done so, despite the shitty audio, go and check out the interview I did last weekend with SC Kicker. Hoping to make that a 3-part series. Not sure when the next one will be, because it's a nightmare trying to organise schedules with one person, let alone 3 people. So see how we go. And I've got to get my bloody audio situation sorted out as well. So all right. With all that being said, good night, everyone, and we shall catch you later.